Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tressel Field at the George Finnie Stadium on the campus of Baldwin Wallace University. I'm Matt Florjanczyk, joined by Jason Lacey for today's game between the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets and the Heidelberg Student Princes. And it is a special day here at Tressel Field as the Yellow Jackets are honoring their seniors on Senior Day. And you can see Coach Snell and members of the athletic department going down the line and congratulating the seniors who have helped build the Yellow Jacket program both on the field and in the training room. And from a management standpoint, always a special day, always an emotional day when it's Senior Day here at Tressel Field, and this has much the same feel as those in previous years, Jason.
Yeah, definitely, and this is a very tight senior class, a class I actually came in with. A lot of these guys, my close friends, my housemates. So this is a tight-knit group of guys that came in kind of with the understanding that, we can be successful in this program. And, they've kind of played that out with the play and the tightness you can see of this group on and off the field.
Well, they've definitely had some success here in their careers at Baldwin Wallace, specifically this year, where the Yellow Jackets are 6-3 heading into today's season finale, and they are 6-2 in the Ohio Athletic Conference. They come in off of a loss, however, after a 4-game winning streak. They traveled to Alliance to face the number one ranked team in the country, the University of Mount Union, and the Purple Raiders, the reigning national runners-up, defeated the Yellow Jackets 42-0, but more importantly than the loss on the scoreboard was the loss of their senior quarterback, Tyler Meglin, who will not be able to play in his final game as a Yellow Jacket because of an injury sustained last week in Alliance.
Yeah, and I believe it was a head injury, possible concussion last week. Meglin, as we all know, one of those quarterbacks that loves to stretch the play, that loves to stay up and get the extra yards with his feet. This time just takes a hit, kind of head bounced off the ground, didn't look good, did not return to that game. And so today we will be looking at senior quarterback Robbie Plagans on the year, 58.3 completion percentage, 127 yards, not yet a touchdown, but this is his first start of the year.
You look at what Meglin leaves behind, and it's a tough act to follow. The heart and soul of the Yellow Jacket offense gained 907 yards on the season and a rush for 11 touchdowns on 144 carries, averaged 5.1 yards per pop. And then in the passing game, he accounted for nearly all of the Yellow Jackets' yardage as he completed 137 of his 195 throws, 70.3% for 1,573 yards, 11 touchdowns against 2 interceptions in 9 starts. So big shoes to fill for Plagans today, but he's going to have some help in that running back core of Isaac Reed III, Austin Smith, and Adam Blake.
Yeah, these are 3 utility backs that are all have their own special features that makes them, unique. Isaac Reed, kind of one of those shifty backs, but he will give you that power. He'll give you those yards after contact. And then Adam Blake, who is more of your power back, a bigger guy. At about 5'9", 195, this is your guy that runs downhill, kind of a north and south runner. And then you have Austin Smith, who's definitely your quicker back. You get him out there on those pitches. You see him in the shotgun formation as the Wildcat formation running back. But equal distribution for these guys. If you look, Isaac leads the way with 444 yards on the year, 383 for Smith, and 301 for Blake. So even distribution between these running backs.
And that's not just with yardage, that's with carries as well. Reed, 75 carries on the year, Smith, 73, and Blake, 52. They have combined for 13 rushing touchdowns and all have better than a 5.1 yard per carry average. That's getting the job done, and that's definitely going to help this Yellow Jacket offense as they try to stem the tide against a Student Prince team without their senior leader in Meglin.
Yeah, and it's just tough for a team like this, led by Meglin for so long, and just a guy that's so much of a leader, so much of a figure for this team, to be able to watch him in his senior day, to not be able to play, in the jeans and watching you from the sideline. It just hurts as a team to not be able to step out there with your signal caller under center, but it's just part of the game. Adversity is what makes a great team, how you deal with it. And I think BW will hold up well. Robbie Plagans is an experienced quarterback who has experience, last year coming into the game, and even out of high school, coming out of Rocky River, coming out of that D1 school in high school, a prestigious quarterback. So definitely a time to show his game and his skills here today.
Well, the other 13 seniors have an opportunity to show Meglin just how much they have appreciated his efforts over the last 3 years by going out there and laying it on the line for him. And every time they have a score, I'm sure they're going to be coming over to him and saying, hey, that one's for you, buddy. You've got us here. Now we're going to get you over the hump and get one for you. Taking a look at the senior day festivities, the Yellow Jackets just finished honoring 3 student trainers, 3 student managers, a student coach, and their 14 senior football players. Taylor Jersinski, Caitlin Burgess, and Patrick Moran were honored as the student athletic trainers. The student managers, Janaea Feaster, Ben Lair, and Allison Hellis were also honored, as was assistant coach Chris Binkley. And then looking at those 14 players and what they've meant to this Yellow Jacket team, you look up and down the names of this list, and they're all the defensive and offensive leaders, both at the line of scrimmage and at the skill positions. Nolan Brandt, Tyler Burdorf, John Haney, Ian Harmon, Josh Lane, Anthony Lautinen, Nicholas Malvasi, Jake Maurer, Dylan Minnick, Tyler Meglin, Robbie Pluggins, Isaac Reed, Austin Steffen, and Lawrence Wolf. All those guys, as you said, came in together, were a part of a transition to help this BW team get back on track after they had fallen on some hard times, and they have a chance to finish this season at 7-3. And realistically, they were one more win away from being in the competition for a playoff berth, which I think is a huge step forward for a team that hasn't had as much success recently as they have had in the past. And it's been a while for the Yellow Jackets since they've been in the postseason. And this might be the groundwork that this senior class laid. It just might be the foundation for a march to the postseason in a not-so-distant future.
And, again, going with the positives out of the situation, you look at the Yellow Jackets situation right now, not far out of the playoffs, maybe missed the playoffs partially. Give credit to that loss to Bluffton, which doesn't look good right now, who loses to Wilmington. But, I mean, you look at the positive here. You got young guys that are in here getting in rotation due to injuries and, just end of the year things. You want your younger guys on the field. If you've got a freshman and a senior with the same production, who are you putting on the field? You're putting the freshman on the field, get him some experience, and, get him ready for next year.
Absolutely. While we have this time, I want to remind everybody that today's Yellow Jacket football game is being brought to you by Don Andrews and Olympic Forest Products, a global recycling company. Domino's Pizza. Call us in Berea at 440-891-0030 or go online at www.domino's.com. The Oriole Cafe, a great place for sports, located at 294 North Rock River Drive, less than 2 minutes from the Berea campus. The Hoffman Group, for all of your insurance and risk management needs. The Ohio Education Credit Union, gain the advantage. The Ohio Education Credit Union offers convenience, trust, and value. Build your future today. That was the sounds of the Baldwin Wallace Marching Band playing the national anthem in honor of our country. While we have this time, we also want to remind you that today's Yellow Jackets game is being brought to you also by Medical Mutual of Ohio. Medical Mutual is a healthcare provider of Baldwin Wallace University, the Cleveland Clinic Sports Health Division, the healthcare provider for BW Athletics. Parkway Auto Care in Berea, Strongsville Express Tire and Auto Service, and in Montville. We serve the southwestern suburbs of Greater Cleveland. American International, when you require a company with a proven performance, rely on American International. The Comfort Inn in Middleburg Heights, where your comfort is just a part of the service we provide our guests. And the Courtyard by Marriott and Town Place Suites in Middleburg Heights. Have you stayed at a Marriott today? Taking a look at the opponent for the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets today, the Heidelberg Student Princes come in to today's game with a record of 5-4 overall. They are 5-3 in the Ohio Athletic Conference, and they are coming off of a 45-30 victory over the Capital Crusaders at their senior day last week at Frost Kalnow Stadium in Tiffin under the direction of Mike Hallett, who graduated from the University of Mount Union. He is in his 9th year at the school, and he has led the Student Princes to a 55-35 record. In 12 years as a head coach overall, he is 70-50. Heidelberg comes in, however, riding a 3-game winning streak against the Yellow Jackets. BW leads the all-time series 46-22.
Yeah, and this Heidelberg team, and not a bad Heidelberg team to come up against. Not the Heidelberg team that we've seen in past years, but definitely a team that can get the job done. And they're led on the ground by Brian Lacey, the junior running back out of Benedictine High School. He's got 182 carries, 1,135 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 121 yards per game, which is nice on the ground for that back. Led through the air, Tyler Stoyle, 165 passer rating, 65.6 completion percentage, 22 touchdowns on the year, 1,669 passing yards. So definitely look for the run attack to be heavy here, and look for Lacey to get a lot of carries here. I'm looking at the attempts between him and the second back, Jose Sanchez. Only 43 carries for the second back, 182 for Lacey. So maybe not that 2-3 back combination that we have been used to seeing in the past week against the Yellow Jackets.
Well, without question, when you break the numbers down in 9 starts this year, Lacey is averaging better than 20 carries per game, 121 yards per game, as you said. In his career at Heidelberg, which spans 31 games, he has gained 2,498 yards on 392 attempts and lost just 74 yards. So he has netted 2,424 yards and scored 23 touchdowns. He's averaging 6.2 yards per carry over his Heidelberg career. Those are some stupendous numbers when you look at it, and that run defense for the Yellow Jackets is going to have to answer the bell if they want to be successful today.
And definitely stupendous numbers if you think about Cartel Brooks, the prestigious running back coming out of Heidelberg that just 2 years ago here at Baldwin Wallace put up 495 yards on the ground. So looking at these carries from Lacey, this wasn't a guy that was a premier back for these guys, for 4 years, and to be able to put up these type of numbers, that's impressive.
Oh, without question, and that definitely is going to be a key focal point of that interior defense, that you do not get gashed up to middle. Force them to the outside where you have that extra defender in the sideline, and you can also have a linebacker coming from the outside spot, or maybe a safety coming down and run support to limit those gains from Lacey. It'll be interesting to see whose offense can control the tempo, with the Yellow Jackets breaking in a different quarterback than what they expected to come in here with, and with Heidelberg able to run the ball and pass the ball effectively. This could be one of those games that gets decided in the fourth quarter. I don't think anybody's getting blown out today.
Yeah, no blowouts today. I'm definitely surprised last week by the showing that BW's defense came out with against a tough Mount Union team, holding them to 0 points in the first quarter. That's the first time that has happened since 2 years ago against Baldwin Wallace, where they were held to 0 points in the first quarter. So this defense coming off a better game where we're used to seeing the Yellow Jacket offense coming in with the momentum. Not so much momentum for the offense. Now the defense comes out first in the first interception and first fumble against that Mount Union team, I believe, had 3 turnovers last week. So I definitely look to see more of that and more leadership from this defense led by Sam Groff, 68 tackles on the year, and a favorite guy for me, Brock Hall, who came out and played a great game last week. He's got 1 sack, a forced fumble, and 55 tackles on the year.
And Hall also has added 3 interceptions, which he's returned for 16 yards, including a long of 14 earlier this year. The Yellow Jacket captains will be coming out to midfield to take the coin toss against Heidelberg, and it looks like the Yellow Jackets' 4 captains are going to be flanked by the rest of their senior class, which is a nice showing by Coach Snell to send out all the seniors and get them the recognition that maybe they don't deserve. Maybe they're, a right guard or, an interior defensive lineman whose name isn't going to show up on the stat sheet all that much, but they still have worked their tails off and they've earned the right to represent their school.
And definitely, as you mentioned, an impactful senior group. If you're just looking at it from the left of your screen to the right, with Robbie Plagans, Ian Harmon, Nick Malvesi, Austin Steffen, John Haney, Lawrence Wolf, Nolan Brandt, Dylan Minnick, Jake Maurer, and Anthony Loudon, as my partner mentioned. But these guys are all production guys for BW, all the way down the line. These guys are either first or second string guys. They're in there on the trenches doing what they need to do. A couple of skill guys for BW, but for the most part, these are mostly linemen that we're looking at here.
Yeah, and that's going to be a tough thing for the Yellow Jackets to replace. But with the way that those guys play, their leadership has been invaluable, and I think they've passed that along to some of the younger guys who have become very good playmakers in their own right for the Jackets.
And I definitely think that's important, to be able to, lead by example more than what you're saying. It's easy for guys to get out there and, jump and yell around, but what's really done is by what you're doing, lead by example, and let these younger guys see what to do based off what you're doing.
BW won the toss, and they have elected to defer to the second half. Heidelberg will take the opening kickoff, and the Yellow Jackets will defend the south goal here at Finnie Stadium. The Yellow Jackets will go right to left across your screens in the first quarter, and Heidelberg will go left to right. Heidelberg comes out in their road white uniforms with black pants, orange numbers, orange lettering, and orange trim down the sides with their orange helmets. The Yellow Jackets in their home brown jerseys with yellow numerals and trim, white pants with brown and yellow trim down the sidelines, and the yellow helmet with the BW logo on either side. The captains have returned to the entrance to the stadium, and they're revving up their teammates. And this is really a sad sight to see for me, is Tyler Meglin not being in the mix and standing on the sidelines away from the pile. It's absolutely heartbreaking to see a senior quarterback not be out here for senior day. And I my heart goes out to the kid who's meant so much for this Yellow Jacket team over the years.
Yeah, and if you've been watching any of these BW games, you can see the type of energy that he brings on that field. When he breaks out on a 12-yard run, he's coming back to the line. He's pumping these guys up on the sideline, pumping the fans up. He gets everybody going. And just, being close friends with Meglin, knowing the type of guy that he is, this is a guy that's really the type of guy that you want leading your football team. If you're a team and this is your senior quarterback, you're sitting in great hands, because Meglin is a guy that doesn't give up. And I bet if he could play, if it was his choice to which he could play today, he would definitely be out there on the field. And it's just a great gesture to see him out there pumping these guys up as if he was dressed to play.
Well, not only does he lead in terms of what he can do in the locker room, but on the field, too. He's one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the country. Baldwin Wallace is ranked first in the nation out of 241 schools in completion percentage this year. They've completed 69.2% of their passes and rank 7th in Division III with just 2 interceptions, and that's pretty much all on him, as Plagans has seen minimal time at quarterback, and really Meglin has been the catalyst to this Yellow Jacket team all year long. So hopefully his senior teammates will be able to go out and represent him, even though he's not able to play today.
And as you mentioned, I'm sure these guys are playing with a chip on their shoulder. Do it for Meglin. every time they score, definitely going to be, ready to get hyped up and keep Meglin, involved in this game as if he was dressed out here playing, because, as I mentioned, I know he wish he was.
Well, the ball has been teed up at the 35-yard line, and we're about set to get this game underway as Riley Jones will put the left foot into it, and he will send it near the sideline. It'll be caught at the 3 and returned up the near sideline, out to the 20, now to the 25, back across the field to the 32, 33-yard line. On the return was Brian Lacey, the standout running back for the Student Princes.
And this is definitely a guy that's explosive with the ball in his hands, and it doesn't take much for him to get going. He can make one move and kick it to another gear, and that's what it's got to be as a running back.
1st and 10 for Heidelberg at the 33-yard line. Stoyle in a shotgun formation. He takes a snap and drops back. He's looking left. He's stepping up. He's hit as he throws. He finds a man in stride down to the Yellow Jacket 31-yard line. Making the reception was Demetrius McGee, the sophomore receiver out of Rochester Hills, Minnesota. Had the post route inside position and was able to catch the ball for the first down and get in the Yellow Jacket territory.
And that was a great ball under pressure. Not the best ball that he could have thrown, but under pressure, that's a nice pass by Stoyle.
Stoyle will hand off to Lacey. He's running right side, has a pair of blockers in front. Down to the 30, gets wrapped up and taken down at about the 27-yard line, but there was a flag coming in late from the side judge. We'll see what the call on the field is. An illegal block on Heidelberg, so that'll back them up, and they'll face a 1st and long here.
Run through a quick run through of the starters on defense. Maurer, Wolf, Harmon, and Schultz on the line. Nishwich, Burdoff, and Groff are your backers. Fairster, Washington, Hall, and Dover are your defensive backs.
Stoyle will go in the shotgun formation. He's got Lacey springing out to the left, but he'll find the target is McGee on the left side, and he'll get all the penalty yards back and then some as he gets up near the 25-yard line. He's definitely inside the 26, so it'll be 2nd and about 6 for the Student Princes. Stoyle fakes the inside draw. Now he's rushed out of the pocket. He'll try to scramble up the middle, and he'll get a gain of about 2 yards, and that's about it as the swarm defense gets to the ball carrier in a hurry.
And that's a nice job of pursuit by the defensive line. That's how it's got to be done as a unit. Not just one person pursuing to the ball, but you see multiple guys on the defensive line led by Ian Harmon getting in there and making that tackle and bringing up this 3rd and 4.
3rd and 4, and if you get a sack on this play, you might just knock the Student Princes out of field goal range. Stoyle takes the snap. He's dropping back. He's going to flare it to Lacey. Lacey at the 30, cuts to the 25, spins, but he is going to be short of the first down. Looks to be 2 yards short, so that'll bring up a 4th and 2 from the Yellow Jacket 22-yard line. And I've got to believe that the offense is going to remain on the field. They're going to go for it, it looks like. It's a big opportunity for the Yellow Jackets to get off the field here without giving up points. Stoyle in the shotgun. He'll take the snap, fake the handoff. He's throwing it out left. Ball is complete, and down the sideline it goes for a first down. Not quite a touchdown, even though the receiver jumped into the end zone. He stepped out. Looks to be at the 5, but there is a flag on the play. We'll see what the call on the field is.
Definitely is against the Student Princes here.
So it looked like somebody was guilty of a push-off as the call is offensive pass interference. So that'll back them up here, and a 4th and 2 becomes a lot longer than that.
And I think what that was the pick play on that shoot pattern that he ran, that receiver on the outside kind of coming in and setting a pick on that linebacker, not allowing him to jump out there on that flare pattern, and that's going to get called every time. Quickly, while we got a chance just to run through Heidelberg Starter, as we mentioned, Stoyle at quarterback. Lacey and Ashley are the backs. As receiver, McGee and Morris. Hogue is your tight end. And on the line, Dan Schroeder, Fink, Hunter, Riccanelli, and Hankish.
Coach Hallett asking for some explanation. I'm not sure if it's the yardage spot or what the situation is, but it is definitely a 4th and 16 now for the Student Princes. The ball is at the Yellow Jacket 37-yard line, and we're going to see the punt team. So what looked to be a very promising drive after the pass to McGee goes for naught as an offensive pass interference penalty on a 4th down conversion backs the Student Princes up and forces a punt. And Washington is back deep to return for the Jackets. He's standing at the 10. Short, sky-high punt, and that'll be into the end zone as it bounced at the 1, and nobody had a chance to react quick enough, and then it kicked off the pylon, signaling a touchback. So the Yellow Jackets will start 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. A lot better than starting 1st and 10 backed up against your own goal.
Oh, yeah. I know they're happy that ball bounces into the end zone, and we'll get a look at this new Yellow Jackets lineup as we won't see Tyler Meglin coming out as a signal caller. We will see Trevor George, who we did not see last week due to injury, and also number 2, Tyler Wolf is back after missing 4 weeks due to a concussion. Also, no Jordan Leverett, the young freshman playmaker. He's out today with a foot injury.
So Plugins in the shotgun formation. Jackets go empty. Twins out top. Trips to the bottom. So they're coming out swinging. And the pass goes out top to Wolf. Wolf is dropped immediately after catching it. And he gets the ball up to the 26-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 4 for the Jackets. 11:55 and counting here in the first quarter of play.
And I'd like to see Wolf have a big game here today. He's missed 4 games, still 2nd on the team in receiving yards with 231 receiving yards. Not yet a touchdown, but I think I can see that in his future here today.
And he would love to see that in his future as well. Man in motion, fake inside, it goes to Reed. Reed is bottled up quickly. A modest gain of about 1 yard on the play, so it'll be 3rd and 3 for this Jacket team from their own 27-yard line.
And they've got their big back in there, number 41, Brett Zupanik, who's such a force as a lead blocker in the running game and does a great job pass protecting for these quarterbacks here as he's a bigger guy on the field and not a guy that you want to come up head-to-head against if you're one of these defenders.
3rd and 3 now for the Jackets. Plagins in the pistol. He hands off to Reed. Reed is stopped at the line of scrimmage, trying to scramble out of it for a yard, but is going nowhere. The referees blow the play dead, saying his forward progress was stopped, and the Yellow Jackets go 3 and out on their first possession.
Not a way that they want to start off the game with this offense. As I mentioned before the game, the momentum, something that has been big for this Yellow Jackets team, and I like to see some of that momentum from the offense here today, as we didn't see much in that Mount Union game, but hopefully this defense will get the offense back on the field awaiting this punt.
Bad snap, and the Yellow Jackets get it away, and it'll get to midfield and get on Heidelberg's side of the 50, but not by much. Awful snap right there as it skidded its way back to the punter, and you have to credit Austin Smith for A, getting a handle on the football, B, scrambling out of initial pressure, and C, getting the kick away to save the Yellow Jackets some field position here.
Yeah, I give him a lot of credit for escaping that pressure there. It definitely looked like a block punt after a bad snap, but that's a way to respond quickly to that bad snap as Heidelberg takes the snap here.
So Stoyle runs from the pocket, looked like he was going to try to pass from the left side of the formation, found nothing and ducked out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Loss of 1 on the play, 2nd and 11 for the Student Princes.
And that's the guy on that defense right there, number 25, Sam Groff, leading his team in tackles. As I mentioned, with 68 total tackles, he flies around, and look to see him a lot on your screen here today.
2nd and 11, handoff goes inside to Lacey. He breaks initial pressure, gets to the Yellow Jacket side of the 50, down to the 49-yard line. So credit him with a gain of 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and 8 now from the 49-yard line.
And something that I mentioned more of is that's the pursuit that happens from this defense. What's got to happen to prevent yards after carry from Lacey.
Stoyle in the pistol formation. He's dropping back to pass. Throws it out to the left side, and he and the receiver were not on the same page as it overshot the target. It looked like DeLisa was the target on the play, and the ball sailed out of bounds a little too deep of a pass. It looked like they had the right call, and they knew what each other was doing on out and up, or rather an up and out, but one thought it was a depth of 12, and one thought it was a depth of 9.
Yeah, the depth looked like a problem, and I'm not sure they got the read right on those switch plays. Sometimes you have a read where the receiver sits. If the corner is in soft coverage that time, corner kind of in hard coverage, maybe the quarterback thought he was going deeper.
Steven Smith to punt it away for Heidelberg after they go 3 and out, and it bounces at the 10, rolls to about 7, where it is downed by Heidelberg. One of the Yellow Jackets was in on the play, and he touched the ball, and Heidelberg said it was a touchdown, but the flag flew because the return man for the Yellow Jackets got destroyed on a hit by a gunner for Heidelberg.
And you can't do that. You got to allow the fair catcher to catch the ball, give him room to be able to catch the ball comfortably. That's what the rule is, and definitely not a comfortable catch or a comfortable anything for Trip Washington, the return man back deep for there.
Yeah, it looked like Washington ended up turning into a blocker on that play, and not so willing of a blocker, I might add, as he got hit, and that will give the Yellow Jackets some penalty yardage against Heidelberg, and that'll march BW up to the 29-yard line, their own 29. So a little bit of a breathing room here for the Yellow Jackets. You'd like to see them be able to get at least a first down here and gain some momentum with 9:08 left in the first quarter. Plagens in the shotgun, fakes the handoff to Reed. Now he's stepping up in the pocket, finds a receiver over the middle out to the 40 to the 42-yard line. Making the catch was Mike Wagner. Good job on the drag route across the middle to create some separation there.
Yeah, that's what is required as a receiver on that drag pattern. You have to get separation, and you've got to build depth as you come across. You don't want to stay at the same yard marker. It's a great job there by one of their great possession receivers, Mike Wagner, who will do that a lot here today.
Wagner to the bottom of the formation, Wolf out top, 2 backs in the backfield flanking either side of Plagens. Inside handoff, it goes to Reed, and he was a shoelace tackle away from having a big gainer as he gets across the 50 to the Heidelberg 49-yard line. So about 2nd and 3 now. Check that 2nd and 2 for the Yellow Jackets. Almost a big gainer right there for Reed.
And here comes Big Zupanik, number 41, their fullback, who kind of clears the way for these running backs. And as I mentioned, does a great job as a short down fullback here on 2nd and 2.
Twins out to the top, a pistol formation in the backfield, and Wagner out to the bottom. Plagens calls for the snap, inside handoff, it goes to Reed. He spins at the line of scrimmage, falls forward, and is just shy of the first down marker. Depends on which referee you believe, the near side one or the far side one. The far side one gave the Yellow Jackets a little bit better of a spot. Inside handoff, it goes to Reed again. He has the first down and more as he plows his way to the Heidelberg 43-yard line.
And this is where BW kills you, and this is with their tempo. They know what tempos to run and when. That's a great job by this offensive coordinating staff, being able to get back to the line, not let these defense switch in their bigger guys for the short down, and picking up the first down.
3 receivers go to the top of the formation, 1 to the bottom, and Reed in the backfield now. He's going to flank Plagens' right side. And the skill position players are all doing a check with me with the Yellow Jacket coaches. Now they reset. 8 on the play clock. Plagens calls for it and gets the snap. He's looking for the receiver down to the bottom of the formation. He has it. It's Tommy Fuller, and Fuller is up near a Yellow Jacket first down, and they're going to give him the yardage for another conversion. So the Yellow Jackets are coming out firing here on this possession.
Yeah, coming out, moving the ball and spreading the ball around today. We've seen a catch already by 3 different receivers, which is nice to see from this Yellow Jacket offense.
Oh, without question, everybody's getting involved today as Plagens continues to lead the Jackets down the field. Reed is the back in the backfield. He'll flank Plagans to the left. Plagans claps twice, now gets the snap. He's looking right. He flares it over the head of Trevor George, and George had a whole lot of green and a couple of blockers in front of him. If that could have been a completion, that would have been a big gainer for the Jackets.
And you can credit that incompletion. Number 96, Chandler Hoover, the junior linebacker out of Tiffin, Ohio, who was coming with the heat on Plagans, and he wasn't able to comfortably throw that bubble pattern. And as you mentioned, a lot of real estate there for Trevor George if he catches that.
2nd and 10 now for the Jackets from the Heidelberg 33-yard line. 6:24 to go in the first quarter. Plagans surveys the defense, now calls for the snap, fakes the quarterback draw, drops it over the middle to George, and it's broken up on the play by one of the Student Prince defensive backs. Good play by Heidelberg to jump the route. That would have put the Yellow Jackets in the red zone. Instead, now they face a 3rd and 10.
Yeah, that was 39, Sean Belts on the coverage there. And as I mentioned, a great job of being able to break on that ball quickly as Plagans kind of zip that in there. And they're going to draw the Student Princes offside, giving themselves a free play here to just throw that ball up.
Oh, Plagans did just that, and it was intercepted at the 5-yard line, but it's going to get taken off the board for a defensive offsides. And that's exactly what you want to do if you're Plagans. Take a shot. That's why it's called a free play, because action is allowed to continue, and you know if you turn it over, you're going to get the ball right back.
Yeah, smart play by Plagans and a great job there mixing up that snap count. Another thing that the Yellow Jackets do great with that clapping snap count, keeping the defense guessing and on their heels as far as being able to jump the count. And that time it cost them, bringing up this 3rd and 5 on the 28 for the Yellow Jackets.
Plagans in the shotgun formation. Again with the check with me on the sideline. He'll run up to the line and tell the lineman to call before he drops back. Calls for the snap and gets it. He throws it over the middle, and it's incomplete off the hands of Tommy Fuller and nearly intercepted off the deflection by Heidelberg. Jackets fortunate to maintain possession right there.
And that's 39 again. Sean Belts had another time to grab himself an interception and just right off the fingertips of Tommy Fuller, bringing up this 4th and 5 here for the Jackets.
They're going for it as the offense remains on the field. Plagans looks for the play. Then he'll walk to the line and give everybody their marching orders before he drops back and calls for the snap. Inside handoff, it goes to Reed. Reed has first down yardage and more. Makes a cut at the 17 and gets inside the 15 down to the 13 before again being tripped up by the shoelaces, and the Jackets going with the hurry up. They call it for the snap. It's Plagans. He'll fire it out to the right side of the formation. It's a completion to the tight end. Hauling in the pass was Dylan Minnick.
And these coaches on this sideline are hollering on the field to these reps as there are a couple Heidelberg players that started to sub onto the field and didn't get off on time of the snap, and definitely should have been a penalty there against Heidelberg. But nonetheless, 2nd and 7, and Yellow Jackets are knocking on that red zone door here.
They are indeed inside the red zone. They can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. Plagans flanked on either side by a running back. He's going to hand it off inside to Reed. Reed to the 5, to the 4, to the 3, and into the end zone for a touchdown, as Reed had a hole in front of him and just followed the Yellow Jacket lineman to daylight.
And that's what you want to see from your senior back, getting him on the board and getting him the ball early. As you mentioned, great job there following the seam and keeping his legs turning. As Isaac Reed, a small guy, but such a straight, strong running back, and great to see him be able to score that here, as I know his family flew down from Lehigh Acres, Florida to watch him play, and that's a great sight to see from your son.
Without question, that's a heck of a way to celebrate Senior Day, getting a touchdown, as Simonis tees up and hits the extra point. Baldwin Wallace in front of Heidelberg now 7-0 with 5:17 to go here in the first quarter. Reed making sure Senior Day is a memorable one, at least off to a good start anyway, with the 10-yard touchdown run to give the Jackets the 7-point advantage.
And if you're the Jackets, that's the type of drive you've got to love to see. As I mentioned, spreading the ball out to different type of guys. You get a couple of different looks, some deep looks, some short patterns. Maybe that bubble pass, if it's completed, another nice play. mixing it up, getting Isaac Reed the ball, inside dives, the trap play, and then the sweep play. It's a great job there with that offensive play call sequence. And as I mentioned, controlling the tempo, being able to play the game at your own pace. And they did a great job of doing that there on that drive, and it results in a touchdown.
Reed now with 7 touchdowns on the year for the Yellow Jackets, 7 rushing touchdowns on the year, I should say. The Yellow Jacket defense will come back onto the field after this kickoff, and they're looking to force another 3 and out after what was a good possession for them, just one Heidelberg possession to go. Looking at that drive, the Yellow Jackets traveled 76 yards in 11 plays, the final 10 by Isaac Reed, the third for the touchdown. Simonis' kick made it 7-0 in favor of the Jackets. We have a stoppage in play as the ball flew off the tee, which isn't all that surprising given the windy conditions we've had in the Cleveland area this week, although today is probably the most still that the wind has been. Flags on the south side of Finnie Stadium are barely moving, and now Jones will tee up another kickoff, and he'll send it away to the goal line. It goes, and it's fumbled into the end zone. Looks like Lacey's bringing it out, and he's going to be swarmed inside the 5. Bad decision to bring it out by Lacey, and Heidelberg is backed up deep in their own territory.
And that's a swarm job by this kickoff coverage team led by number 45, Robbie Androna. Remember the name. This guy is a monster on special teams for this Yellow Jacket team. Able to fly down there, and that's what you love to see if you're covering a kick. A fumble recovery. This guy has no rhythm. Actually ended up stripping that ball. Luckily, Heidelberg recovers it. But now they're starting this drive on their 5-yard line.
Stoyle will roll out to his left. He's going to fire it out quickly, and it's off the hands of one of his receivers, Demetrius McGee, the target, and it tipped off the sophomore's hands. The Yellow Jackets can force a 3 and out here. You would think that they would get some good field position.
Yeah, definitely what they would like here. As I mentioned, defense is playing nice here to start the game.
Stoyle hands off to Lacey. Lacey off the left tackle gets about 3 yards on the carry up to the 8-yard line. So it is 3rd and long for the Student Princes, 3rd and 7 to be exact. We're under 5 minutes left here in the first quarter of action from Tressel Field. Stoyle in the shotgun formation. Fakes the snap call, reevaluates the defense, and now calls for the snap. He's looking to his right. He's going to be sacked in the backfield as getting pressure and collapsing the pocket was defensive end Andy Schultz. He got in there and brought the quarterback down. Stoyle took way too much time to evaluate the coverage on that play.
Yeah, and not with these type of defensive ends coming down. Andy Schultz, OAC Defensive Player of the Week 2 weeks ago, comes in and gets his 5th and a half sack on the year, and this is a guy that brings the pressure off the edge, and if he gets loose, you got to watch out on the blind side if you're a quarterback because he's packing a punch when he hits you.
Steven Smith called the punt, and he is backed up against the shadow of his own end zone, and he gets away a nice punt that bounces at the 40 and ricochets to the 47, but returning the ball for the Yellow Jackets was Austin Smith, and he gained almost 5 yards on the return as he's inside the Heidelberg 43-yard line. Not much to do if you're Smith right there, the punter, as he had big-time heat coming off the right side.
And did a great job there of, being able to avoid that and make something out of nothing. As sometimes that pressure makes you make a decision that you don't want to make. Great job of keeping his composure there and keeping that ball safe.
1st and 10 for the Yellow Jackets from the Heidelberg 43-yard line. Plagans has 4 receivers out top, 1 to the bottom. That one is Wolf. He's in one-on-one coverage. And Wolf will catch the ball at the 36. Dances around a defender inside the 30. Now across the 25 and down to the 24-yard line. Way to use that imbalanced formation to get Wolf in ISO coverage. Yellow Jackets running quickly with the same formation now. 1st and 10 Fake to Wolf on the short. They're going to go for Wolf long, and he is tripped up at the goal line. The ball is batted away. If he stays up, that could be 6 for the Jackets.
And he knows that Wolf grabs his head, definitely land on the ground thinking that could have been a touchdown if he keeps his foot in. A little bit of contact there on that play, but that's okay. Wolf, a bigger receiver, can shed that contact off, and if he was able to get up off the ground a little bit, this is an athletic guy. That's a touchdown for the Jackets. Not a bad decision to throw that ball by Robbie Plagens.
Smith is the back in the backfield now. He's off to Plagens' left side. Twin receiver formation on either side. Now they're going to call Fuller into the backfield. The handoff goes to Fuller. He gets a block, gets to the 20, gets inside the 20 down to the 17-yard line. A little bit of a crackback block there helps spring him for a modest gain. Now that'll bring up a third and roughly 4 yards for this Yellow Jacket team, under 3 to go in the first quarter.
And seeing a little bit of Tommy Fuller, what you would see out of Jordan Leverett and that jet motion, kind of that pitch play or that handoff play, that's going to be their guy on that jet motion here today. So I'll look for some plays from Tommy Fuller with his feet.
Wolf and Fuller out to the top of the formation. Wagoner and Steinwalks down to the bottom. Plagens takes the snap. He checks down to the back. It goes to Smith. Smith, a little bit of space up the sideline. He'll have a first down and more as he gets the Yellow Jackets to the Heidelberg 10-yard line. So it should be a goal-to-go situation now, depending upon which side of the 10 that ball is spotted on.
We got a holding here on one of the offensive linemen. I believe it's 59, Nolan Brandt, thrown right as the ball was thrown. So definitely not a good sign, as no penalty is for the Yellow Jackets, but more importantly, it negates a good gain and a nice play by Austin Smith.
So instead of first and goal from the 10, the Yellow Jackets face a 3rd and 15, it looks like, from Heidelberg's 27-yard line. Plagens with 3 receivers out to the top and Smith in the backfield. He calls for the snap. He's rolling immediately out to his right. He'll throw it over to Steinwalks, and he'll catch it in bounce, but it's going to be well short of the first down marker as it got only to the 21-yard line. But it looks like the offense so far is going to stay on the field for this Jacket team.
And they're splitting Austin Smith, the running back, to the bottom of your screen here, down towards the numbers.
Plagens gets Heidelberg to jump.
Uh-oh.
Play was stopped. Not sure if it was because Heidelberg drew contact with the Yellow Jackets or if the Yellow Jackets are going to get flagged for a false start. It's an encroachment penalty on Heidelberg, so a 4th and 7 becomes a 4th and 2, it looks like.
BW having their way with these snap counts, being able to draw these differences off sides.
Now 4th and long becomes 4th and 2 for this Jacket squad. Heidelberg nearly jumped off sides again. Smith is the back in the backfield with Plagens. Plagens takes a snap, hands right to Smith. Smith is going to bowl his way across the 15 and doesn't quite get to the 10, but he gets a Yellow Jacket first down as he's marked at the 12. So again, the Jackets could get another first down here without having to score a touchdown.
And the clocks continue to run here as this first half. It seemed to be all Jackets in the time of possession game here, and we'll see what happens here with the ball on the 12, but these offenses rolling here for the Jackets.
Plagens calls for the snap, but it's a false call as now he's checking with the coaching staff on the sideline to see what play they want. And after changing at the line of scrimmage, Plagens will drop back and make the call for the snap. He'll hand off to Smith, and Smith is tripped up at the line of scrimmage. He'll fall forward for a gain of 2 yards. Looked like he had a few more yards in him on that play, but got tripped up at the line. The thing about this hurry-up offense for the Yellow Jackets is it keeps Heidelberg not only guessing as to the formation, but it also keeps their defenders on the field because they don't have time to make the substitutions.
Yeah, big personnel thing with the substitutes and the tempo, and it's nice to know that you'll have the same personnel on the field and this coaching staff as you did the last play.
Plagans calls for the snap and hands it inside to Smith. Smith gets to the 6-yard line, falls ahead to the 5, but they're going to mark him short of the 5. So it'll bring down a third. It'll bring up a third down, rather, for the Yellow Jackets. But we will have to switch ends as there is under 10 seconds left in the first quarter, and the Jackets are content to take a 7-0 advantage into the second quarter here at Tressel Field. Good start for the Yellow Jackets so far. After the offense went 3 and out, they were able to march 76 yards in 11 plays and score on a 10-yard touchdown run from Isaac Reed. And now they're knocking on the door again of possibly punching it in the end zone.
Yeah, and good to see it, as I mentioned before, this offense not missing a step without their starting quarterback Tyler Meglin in there. And just a great job of keeping everything running how it's supposed to be run. You can see it that they practice this with the tempo. They know right when this tempo is changed, everybody's subbing out, rushing off to the field, looking to the sidelines. It's crisp, and that's how it needs to be if you're an offense. Look like you've practiced this for the whole week, and you know you've got your scouting report. You know what these guys are going to do. You studied your film. Now it's to the point where you just need to execute, and hopefully that's what's going to happen here today.
3rd and 3 for the Yellow Jackets. The ball is on Heidelberg's 5-yard line. 7-0 lead for BW, and they're looking to increase that advantage here. Plagans is in the pistol formation. He has 2 receivers at the bottom, and he has Smith behind him. Wagner and Fuller in the slot on the right side. Wolf out top in double coverage actually, as the safety rolled down to help. Handoff goes inside to Smith. He's inside the 5, but he is going to be short of the first down. It looks by a yard. It looks to be a 4th and 1 from the 4. 4th and 2 from the 4, excuse me.
And the crowd's screaming for the Jacket coaching staff to go for it here on 4th down. And I don't blame them, but I think this is a smart move here, bringing out Joe Simonis to knock down what should be a chip shot.
21-yard field goal attempt for Simonis. Ball back, kick up. Kick is good as it splits the uprights. So the Yellow Jackets increase their advantage over Heidelberg to 10-0 with 14:23 left to go here in the first half of play. And taking a look at these first quarter statistics, Baldwin Wallace had 57 yards on 11 rushing attempts. Heidelberg just 12 rushing yards on 6 attempts. BW outpassed the Student Princes 64-44. Nobody turned it over, and the Heidelberg Student Princes were flagged 5 times for 50 penalties, and BW just once for 11. The Yellow Jackets holding a 9:17-5:43 edge in time of possession. Jackets 104 on a 3rd down. Heidelberg 0-for-3.
And they're just moving the ball more than the Student Princes here. If you've seen 121 total yards for BW, 56 for Heidelberg, 7 first downs for BW, 1 for Heidelberg. So these offenses definitely moving the ball, and right now Heidelberg has no answer for it.
No, they do not, but they will look to have an answer on this drive as Jones puts the left foot into it. The ball is fielded at the 7-yard line. It's Lacey running up the far sideline. He gets out to the 20. And Heidelberg has a little bit better field position than the last time they started as Lacey fumbled a kickoff and then tried to take it out of the end zone and didn't even make it back to the 5. So a little bit more breathing room for Stoyle and Lacey and the Student Prince offense. We'll see if that helps them out on this drive.
And we'll see how this defense fares, playing nicely, holding Heidelberg to just under 6 minutes in time of possession in the first quarter.
Stoyle hands off to Lacey. Lacey gets back to the line of scrimmage and doesn't get much more than that. And that'll bring up 2nd and long now, as there was no hole to speak of for Lacey to try to dart through.
And in for the Jackets, something I always speak of, this second wind of defensive linemen with number 42, Shark King Bonaparte, and number 90, Anton Richardson in the defensive tackles. They really get after it coming in off the bench.
Stoyle fakes the handoff. Now he'll swing it out to DeLisa on the left side. DeLisa across the 35, now up near the 40-yard line. And that'll be a Heidelberg first down. DeLisa did a good job to create some space and then moved a little bit in space as well on that play. Heidelberg now with just their 2nd first down of the game. Inside handoff goes to Lacey. Lacey now trying to bounce it out left. He has his quarterback as a blocker. Kind of whiffed on that block near midfield, but gave him enough of a shield to let Lacey run for the first down.
And there, Stoyle in his head was thinking, this is probably a good idea to set this block here, and then realized this isn't a good idea. Kind of saw him back away.
It sounded like a good idea initially, and then he saw the charging defender, and then he's like, let me step out of the way. Stoyle again to Lacey. Lacey up the middle. Actually checked that is Jose Sanchez with the spot carry, and Sanchez gains about 7 on that carry as he just bowls his way through the Jacket interior defensive line. Second and 3 for the Student Princes, and we have Laundry on the field, and it looks like that is going to be a false start on Heidelberg, so that'll make a 2nd and 3, a 2nd and 8 with 12:48 to go here in the first half.
Not a theme that we want here for any team, and something that we've seen early, as we mentioned, with these penalties and these yards. 7 penalties already here in this first half.
Heidelberg on the BW side of the 50 is Stoyle. Will swing it out to the left. It's first down yardage and more, as catching the pass was Braden Jerome, the 6'4", 210-pound sophomore out of Madison, Ohio. That's a heck of a target to have to throw to as a quarterback.
And he's a big guy out there, split out wide here to your near side of the field, matched up against Howard Dover. That's a target that I would be going to if I was the quarterback.
Stoyle will give it to Sanchez. Sanchez across the 30, down to the 25, inside the 20, now to the 15. He'll rumble his way down to the 10-yard line. Hard running inside by Jose Sanchez. And you have to think now the way he's running the football, they're going to stick with him for a while.
Oh, yeah, and he's a big guy, too, back there at 6 foot, about 205 pounds. He's back there barreling through, and he runs hard out there. As you saw him run through about 2 or 3 tackles on the play when it looked like he should have been down.
Sanchez is a 5'10", listed at 5'10", 190. Both of those are generous. He looks a lot bigger than that. The senior out of Fairview Park, so he's playing his final collegiate game right around where he used to play his high school football. So I'm sure he has a nice support system here today. And we're going to back the Student Princes up quite a bit, actually. They get backed up to the 26-yard line. I have to think, just quick math says that was a personal foul after the play. That was 15 yards from the previous spot. The spot was the 11. So back them up 15. It's 1st and 10 from the 26. Heidelberg continues to be plagued by penalty issues.
And almost right on cue, right as I spoke of penalties, a nice run, and then negated there at the end of the play by a personal foul, as the ref looks like they're talking to the sidelines, telling them to chill out a little bit. It's okay.
And the referees are also resetting the chains. So instead of having a 1st and 10, they have a 1st and 25.
Shooting yourself in the
so
foot.
That makes the play calls a little bit different now.
0 plays in the playbook to pick up 25 yards right now. And it looks like are we
resetting a third time?
Chains again here.
Well, this is going to result in a discussion near John Snell.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it should anyway. And now the head official is coming over to explain the placement of the sticks. I don't think any explanation right now is going to help Coach Snell absorb this penalty and say that a 1st and 10 is what should have been called. He was more so hoping for that 1st and 25.
Oh, yeah. Well, you go from 1st and 25 to 1st and 10 here right on the 26-yard line. Big difference looking at getting ready to be right into the red zone and having a first down, being able to just pick up that yardage and be right into the red zone. So definitely a big difference between 1st and 10 and 1st and 25 at this specific yard line.
So it will stay a 1st and 10, we think, as the referee heads back to his spot and the umpire spots the ball at the 26. Referee signals for the start of play. 1st and 10, Heidelberg. Stoyle takes the handoff. He hands off to Sanchez. Sanchez across right tackle, gets the penalty yardage back and more as he gets right back almost to where he started or ended the last play, gets the ball to the 12-yard line. It's a 1st down for Heidelberg.
And something I noticed with this defense, and they have troubles with the power backs, being able to just wrap them up and get them down on the first try.
Well, the thing about Sanchez is, too, he's not just power. He's got a little speed to him as he takes the inside handoff and gets wrapped up at the 11, very close to getting flagged for a false start there as he lurched forward before the snap of the ball. Second and 9 for Heidelberg, 11:30 to go here in the first half. Sanchez takes the handoff. He's across the 10, bowls his way to the 5. Check that, the 6-yard line. He will get no further. It'll bring up 3rd down. It just seems like he hits the hole hard and has a huge head of steam coming when he takes that handoff from the quarterback.
Oh, yeah, and against this BW defense, speed backs that run east and west doesn't really work, whereas I mentioned how great this defensive unit pursues.
Stoyle swings a pass out to his left. It skips to DeLisa. He's trying to say that he caught the ball. I applaud the acting job, but that ball definitely skipped its way into his hands. So that'll bring up 4th down, and the field goal unit will be sent on for Heidelberg. Smith, the short-range kicker, will come on. And he is facing a 23-yard field goal attempt here to get Heidelberg on the board for the first time today. The snap is back, the ball is down, the kick is up, and the kick is good. Heidelberg cuts into this Yellow Jacket lead. BW in front of the Student Princes 10-3 with 10:53 to go here in the first half.
And not upset if you're the Yellow Jackets, upset that you let them get on the board, but you hold them from a touchdown. After a controversial penalty, to be able to hold your ground and not let these guys get into the end zone. Not a bad showing from the defense. They would have liked to stop 2 of those long plays, the longer run, and then be able to tackle Nick DeLisa down here towards the bottom of your screen on that out play. So a couple of mishaps, a couple of missed tackles, but all in all, kept them out of the end zone and makes this a 10-3 lead for the Jackets.
And gives them an opportunity to go right back on offense now with a chance to make it a 2-score game again.
And the way this offense is rolling, you can't be mad at that. Getting your offense back on the field and letting them get a chance to work what they do with 10:53 remaining here in this half and do what they do, and that's take a lot of time off the clock when they drive the ball.
A.J. Morrison in to kick off for Heidelberg. He is their long-range specialist. Back deep to return for the Yellow Jackets are Theodore Washington and Adam Blake. Washington to the top, Blake to the bottom of your screens. Heidelberg sends it away, and it's going to be Washington watching it bounce over his head into the end zone and out of the back of the end zone for a touchback.
Washington had his eyes on returning that one. As you could see, his feet start to shuffle a little bit. Kind of thought he was going to be able to get a hold of that and get out there on that, but great kick to kick that ball over top of his head and setting this Jacket this Jacket offense up at the 20, which seems to have been nice field position for them. Looking at on the year where they've started with the ball, usually have their back against the wall.
1st and 10 from the 25 after the kickoff out of the back of the end zone. Plagans in the offense will start, and for the 3rd straight series, the Jackets have a new running back as Blake is in now to handle the rushing plays. Fake handoff to Blake. Plagans was looking initially for Wagner. He got flushed from the pocket and then throws a pass, two-handed pass, and it's complete to Wagner along the sideline. He had both feet down in bounds. Plagans under duress, getting dragged down by the nameplate on the jersey. Two-hand chest passed the ball out to Wagner, and he stayed inbounds for the reception.
And a dangerous play if you're Robbie Plagans. And I know these coaches here in the box next to us did not like that throw, as there was a couple of Heidelberg defenders in that area, but great job by Mike Wagner to keep his feet in bounds and get possession of that ball, haul it in for that 6-yard gain.
Fuller goes in motion. He takes the shuffle pass. He's to the 30, to the 35, 40. Turns the corner at the 45. Across midfield he goes down to the 30. Tripped up inside the 30. It's a Yellow Jacket first down all the way to Heidelberg's 27-yard line.
And that's what you're going to see. As I mentioned earlier, that's Jordan Leverett's play on that jet sweep. Get Tommy Fuller in there on the jet sweep. He's got some big guys in front of him blocking. Great job blocking. Dylan Minnick, number 82, the tight end. Also number 7, Mike Wagner, setting that edge on the play, and a big hole for Tommy Fuller to stumble forward and pick up that big gain.
1st and 10 for the Jackets. Ball on the Heidelberg 27. Plagans in the shotgun with Blake flanking him to the right. Fakes the handoff to Fuller. He's going to throw it over the middle, and it's going to be intercepted by the Heidelberg defense coming up from the secondary to make the interception was sophomore defensive back Jarrett Wasson.
And I'm not sure if Plagans was looking deep for Wolf on that or looking underneath for Minnick on that. Either way, it could have been a great throw under pressure. Kind of got that off his back foot. Didn't get as much power as he wanted to behind it. And also great awareness by Jarrett Watson to be able to come up and pick that ball off, not even knowing where the ball was thrown.
There is a sideline warning being administered to the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets. Heidelberg takes over possession inside their own 10-yard line, but more importantly than that, after allowing the big play to Fuller, they keep the Jackets out of the end zone. Stoyle takes the high snap, fakes the handoff to Sanchez. Now he's going to scramble across the 10, be shy of the 15. It looks like he's going to be forced out at the 13, so a gain of 4 yards on the play.
And you saw the design on that play, kind of a triple option to the back behind him, able to run it, and then had number 81, McGee, about 6 yards away from the line of scrimmage that he could have dumped the ball to. That's a great job of coverage there by Brock Hall and Howard Dover on the outside.
2nd and 6 for Heidelberg. Stoyle in the pistol formation with Lacey back in the backfield behind him. Fakes the handoff to Lacey. He's looking down the field. Pressure comes. He escapes the pocket and has a whole lot of green in front of him. That's a first down out to the 20. Gets a block to the 25 and gets all the way up to the 30-yard line for a Heidelberg first down. What an amazing block right there on the outside. It was McGee, and he laid out Eric Junker, the defensive end.
Yeah, and that was a big blow, and those are what you look for when the quarterback scrambles, when you've got guys back deep. I think that was Tyler Burdoff. He may have got on that. But picking up the first down, a great play by the Student Princes.
Lacey takes the handoff. He's rushed out to the right side of the formation. There's a flag on the play. That's going to be in the area of a holding, and I did misspeak on the last play as Burdoff was the linebacker who got blocked and brought the Heidelberg sideline to their feet.
And that's a big block, and that's what happens. Some of those players are the plays you need to be able to get your team pumped up, get some momentum, to get guys back into the game. You know, and if you're the Student Princes, that's what you need right now. And more penalties, backing them up now with that holding 1st and 20 on the 21-yard line. So the Student Princes just shooting themselves in the foot with these penalties here today.
Stoyle in the pistol formation, 2 receivers to the bottom of the formation. He's going to inside handoff to Lacey, and Lacey gets some of the penalty yardage back. And there's some chirping on both sidelines as neither team was happy with some of the extracurriculars after the play, and it looks like McGee is still jawing with one of the Jacket defenders.
And that's Trip Washington for you. He's a little guy, but he's not scared to get up there and get in your face. As you look at McGee, one of their bigger receivers, 6'2", 210. So Trip Washington not backing down from that matchup.
Stoyle looking for McGee. Now he's going to find the tight end instead over the middle of the field to the 40 to the 45. First down yardage over across the 45-yard line. That is Zach Hoja hauling in the big reception for Heidelberg.
And as I mentioned with that big hit, you're seeing a kind of a newborn energy with Heidelberg here, kind of a sense of urgency, looking like they want to play a little football here now as they have 1st and 10 on the 46.
Stoyle rolls out to his right. He finds a target for first down yardage and more across the Yellow Jacket 40-yard line. Hauling in the pass was LaShawn Moore, the 5'10" junior wide receiver out of Menor, Ohio.
And more movement here with these short passes. Not too many long passes besides that first drive post pattern that we saw, but a lot of dump-off patterns across the middle to pick up Heidelberg's yardage.
Inside handoff goes to Lacey. Lacey across the 35, inside the 30, and stopped at the 27-yard line. Another nice gain. Like you said, not a huge gain, but they keep getting chunk plays and moving the football down the field.
And chunks is sometimes what you need to gain that mindset, as BW, I believe, calls a timeout. Chunks of yardage is what you need. Is something I'm so big on is momentum, because momentum is so big in these type of games. As you see, starting with a big hit, not even a nice run by the quarterback, not a great run, nice run, picks up a first down, but the big hit. You see these guys getting pumped up, and now they have a sense of urgency. They've got this newborn energy, being able to catch the ball with that extra energy to get the extra yards after the catch. And we've seen it here, short passes turning into longer gains, and have them here knocking on the door of the red zone on the 27-yard line.
But more importantly than anything, those modest gains aren't losses. You're not losing yardage, and that's a key factor. When you're backed up deep and when you keep committing penalties, the last thing you can afford is negative plays on top of it. That's where Heidelberg has done a very good job. They may not have gained a lot, but they avoided negative run situations and negative plays, all except for the one sack of Stoyle by Andy Schultz. Heidelberg has really, the only negative plays they have made have been the penalties. 2nd and short for Heidelberg. Stoyle in the pistol, Lacey behind him. 2 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. Lacey gets the handoff. He gets first down yardage, jitterbugs across the 25 and gets down to the 23-yard line. Looked like there could have been a little bit of a motion penalty right there before the snap, but the officials let the play go, and Heidelberg gets another first down. First and 10 from the 23. Stoyle takes the handoff, or takes the snap. Inside handoff to Lacey. Lacey spins away from a defender, almost spun away from a second defender, has another Heidelberg first down, and they are inside Baldwin Wallace's 15-yard line.
And out goes Lacey, in comes Sanchez. And Lacey, I like the words used, jittery. He's a slippery guy in there. You can see not a lot of guys are grabbing him on that first tackle on the first touch, as I believe another timeout awarded to the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, BW charged with their second timeout in just 3 plays, and I think part of the reason why was because Lacey checked out and Sanchez checked into the ball game.
Yeah.
And they remember when number 5's on the field that they better pay attention.
Yeah, they know he's coming barreling down out of there. And I was speaking of before the timeout. Lacey, if you watch him run, he's not picking up 20 yards on the play, but he's getting nice 5 and 6 yard runs, as we talked about the chunks. But it's not the one tackler that's getting to him. Not one guy has ever just grabbed him and brought him down. He's slipping out of these tackles. He's bumping to his own guys and finding ways to make it move, but he doesn't go down easy. And there's 2 ways that can happen: with your feet, with him, and then how it is with Sanchez, with your body and the bulk and being able to run through people and keep your legs moving through those tackles. So these are two backs that do a great job of running after the contact.
Well, you definitely can understand why he's rushed for over 1,100 yards and averages better than 6 yards a carry and 121 yards per game. Lacey, very slippery and dynamic as a playmaker, but Sanchez is no joke either, and Sanchez will be in on this 1st and 10 snap. Stoyle rolls out to his left. He's looking for the end zone and left it a little bit too long. McGee was the target, but that was thrown in a place where nobody was going to catch it, and if you're Heidelberg, you don't mind that play.
Yeah, nobody, not even his receiver, as there was great coverage. You have Trip Washington over top and then Sean Nishwood's sliding underneath that pattern. That's how it's got to be in the back quarter of that end zone.
2nd and 10 for Heidelberg. Sanchez will take the handoff. He's inside the 10, down to the 5-yard line, or rather inside the 6, I should say. Again, with that hard running inside and another chunk of yardage gained for Heidelberg. 3rd and 3 now with the clock rolling under 6 minutes to go. Jackets 10, Heidelberg 3. The Student Princes, however, are knocking on the doorstep once again. Stoyle takes the snap. He's looking end zone. He lobs it to McGee. McGee in traffic. It's batted away. The Yellow Jackets hold on 3rd down with the pass breakup by the defensive back.
And I like that play by Nate Forrester, being able to hold his own there on the bottom half of that end zone against a taller receiver. And, kind of a jump ball thrown. Not a lot you can do with height, but a great job of there being a distraction drill for that receiver and not letting him being able to get clean sight or hands on that ball.
Steven Smith will come on to attempt a field goal. It's another 23-yarder. The snap is back, the ball is down, the kick is up, and the kick is off the upright. Heidelberg fails to score after driving deep in Yellow Jacket territory, and Baldwin Wallace holds tough to a 10-3 lead with 5:39 to go in the first half.
And I like the play by this defense here today. Not only just holding them off the boards here to a field goal attempt, but we saw a little bit of drive in there by Heidelberg, but we're seeing some resistance here from this defense, and that's not something a lot here on the year.
The Yellow Jackets will get the ball 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. The last drive they had ended in a turnover as Plagans was intercepted inside the 10-yard line. We'll see what they can do on this drive. Handoff goes inside to Blake. Blake is across the 25 where he's cut down at the 26-yard line, so a nice 6-yard gain right at the start of the drive for the Jackets.
And a matchup that I'm looking at up in the booth, and I know these coaches here in the booth next to us, is here at the bottom of your screen. Number 2, Tyler Wolf, one of your bigger, more athletic receivers, matched up against a sophomore DB, Dom Scott, 5'8", 170 pounds.
Handoff goes again inside to Blake, and Blake gets about 1.5 yards. He's still going to be 2 yards short, so 3rd and 2 from the 28.
Out goes Minnick, and in comes Zupanik, which gives them kind of more of a run look, as Minnick's more of the tight end receiving type. You see Zupanik in more of run packages as a lead blocker, as I mentioned, on that dive and power play.
Plagans sends Fuller in motion. Now hands off to Blake, and Blake is wrapped up at the line of scrimmage and gains 1.5 yards and is about 0.5 yard short of the first down, so it'll be 4th and short for the Jackets.
Offense staying on the field here, and the offense was egging Coach Snell on to go for it, and he sends the punt unit out, which is disappointing for the Jackets after a solid stop on defense, just be held to 3 plays on that drive.
So 3 and out for the Jackets, and they'll punt it away with 3:50 and counting to go here in the first half. Heidelberg with a decent shot to mount a drive here, if they can hold their water and not jump off sides. giving the Jackets a free first down.
Another timeout for BW. That is their third and final timeout of the first half.
And while we have this time, I want to remind everybody that today's Yellow Jacket football game is being brought to you by Don Andrews and Olympic Forest Products, a global recycling company. Domino's Pizza. Call us in Berea at 440-891-0030 or go online at www.domino's.com. The Oriole Cafe, a great place for sports, located at 294 North Rocky River Drive and less than 2 minutes from the Berea campus. The Hoffman Group for all of your insurance risk management needs. The Ohio Education Credit Union, gain the advantage. The Ohio Education Credit Union offers convenience, trust, and value. Build your future today. Medical Mutual of Ohio. Medical Mutual is a healthcare provider of Baldwin Wallace University, the Cleveland Clinic Sports Health Division, the healthcare provider of BW Athletics. 4th and short for the Jackets. Smith is on the punt. Snap is back, and it's a good one. Smith will put the right foot into it. It'll hit at the 35-yard line and bounce and be downed at the 34, where Heidelberg will start the drive. Today's game is also being brought to you by Parkway Auto Care in Berea, Strongsville Express Tire and Auto Service, and in Montville. We serve the southwestern suburbs of Greater Cleveland. American International. When you require a company with proven performance, rely on American International. The Comfort Inn in Middleburg Heights, where your comfort is just a part of the service we provide our guests. And the Courtyard by Marriott and Town Place Suites in Middleburg Heights. Have you stayed at a Marriott today? 1st and 10 for Heidelberg. Handoff goes to Lacey. Makes an initial cut outside, then bounces it inside. Gets across the 35 out to the 37-yard line. Gain of 3 on first down, so it'll bring up 2nd and 7 as we approach the 3-minute mark. We're going to reset the play clock, it looks like, and now we're going to restart the game clock with 3 minutes to go. Stoyle takes the snap, and he throws it out for a first down. It goes out to Braden Jerome. He is near midfield at the 47-yard line. Stoyle with the handoff to Lacey. Lacey cuts back to the middle of the field, gets across midfield, now spins to the 45-yard line. Ball comes out. Jackets recover. And the official on the far sideline, however, is going to signal that Lacey was down by contact at the 45-yard line. So 2nd and 2 now. Fortunate for Heidelberg that they held on to the football.
Oh, yeah, and I wasn't quite sure from up here if his knee had hit down first or the ball came out first, but it was definitely a close call. I know it's close on the field as the refs are meeting up here together and trying to get the call together. Nice run by Lacey, though, breaking out of the first tackle, spinning out of the second one, and the refs are signifying that Lacey was down, and that will bring up 2nd and 2 on the 45 if the Jacket bench does not like that call.
Yeah, either way, one sideline was going to explode. It was just a matter of whether you were going to give the Jackets the turnover or not. Stoyle fakes the handoff. Now he's looking to pass. He finds somebody open on the drag route for first down yardage. It's DeLisa. He stepped out at roughly the 36-yard line, so another first down. It looked like he tried a little bit of a hitch and a fake, and then when he did, he put his left foot on the white.
Yeah, maybe a little too much there. Should have maybe put his head down and tried to pick up the extra 3 or 4 yards, but not a bad play in getting out of bounds there with the – well, he didn't get out of bounds. The clock is running with 2:04 in counting.
Stoyle looking to the right side of the formation. He finds his big tight end for another first down. It's Hoja hauling in the reception. And that drag route has actually worked well for both teams. It seems like they're able to clear out the middle of the field by having these off-balance formations, and then they bring a late tight end across or a running back or a fullback, and they're able to find first down yardage. Stoyle hands off to Lacey. He gets around a defender, gets in inside the 25 and down close to the 20-yard. Looks like they're going to spot him at the 21. Gain of about 4 yards on that play. It'll be 2nd and 6 inside 100 seconds left in this first half. Stoyle finds McGee open on the left side of the formation, and it's a touchdown for Heidelberg. Confusion galore on that play by the secondary, and somebody forgot to guard the big 6'2", 210-pounder as he had no defender in sight and caught the touchdown.
Yeah, way too open. That should never happen in a defense. It doesn't matter what defense you're in. Nobody should be that open, and it happens. We've seen that happen multiple times here against Baldwin Wallace where guys have just been wide open, and, it just comes down to just MAs and mental errors. Just guys not running things how they're supposed to run it. Coverage aren't being run how they're supposed to, and in the goal line, that's nothing that you can slip up on.
Smith puts the foot into the extra point attempt, and it's good. And that is a tie ball game as Heidelberg and Baldwin Wallace are deadlocked at 10 points apiece with 1:29 to go here in the first half.
Definitely a minute 29 left here. The way this Jacket offense has been moving, definitely enough time here to come back and put at least a field goal up on the board to break this tie and take the lead going into the locker room at halftime.
Plenty of opportunity here for the Yellow Jackets to put some points on the board before we go into the halftime break. We're going to see what kind of offense they come out with. Hopefully, for the Yellow Jackets, they'll start with a positive return on special teams and get themselves a little bit more breathing room. That's been a struggle so far today. A.J. Morrison, the long-range specialist for Heidelberg, comes in to send the ball away to the Jackets. He'll put the right foot into it. It's a low-line drive. It bounces at the 10 and is fielded by Washington. He's up to the 20, gets across the 25, gets out near the 30, mark at the 29. So the Jackets get a little bit of breathing room here. The Heidelberg Student Princes needed just 7 plays to march 66 yards in that last drive, Jason.
Yeah, nice job there of converting on that drive. And if you're just looking at just some quick rundown of the stats on that, Demetrius McGee now has 3 catches, 63 yards, and a touchdown. Nick DeLisa, 2 catches for 27 yards. And Braden Jerome, 2 for 22 yards.
Good ball distribution on that last drive for Heidelberg, and that actually was a strength of BW early in this game. Let's see if they can get back to it. Plagan's passing on first down. He finds Wolf over the middle for a gain of 10. It's a first down for the Jackets. Ball is spotted at the 38-yard line, and a flag flies late, and somebody might have done a little extra chirping on that one.
Oh, yeah. Flag thrown late. Not usually a time you've seen a flag thrown in a football game. Guys getting ready to line back up at the line. Flag thrown as they're getting ready to get the play off. Here's the call.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. And that's going to march the Jackets back. The ball was up to the 38-yard line.
Definitely was some jawing going on after that play, maybe after the catch. Somebody said something that caught the ref's attention in the wrong way, and more penalties here in this game. It's just definitely detrimental to this drive they're trying to put together with a minute and 16 remaining, and the ball right now on what looks like the 22 maybe.
22-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Jackets. 1:16 to go here in the half. Clock is running. 3 receivers out to the bottom of the formation. 1 out top. A back. It's Smith flanking Plagans. Plagans going to take the run, or just run it himself. He's cut down at the 30-yard line. So he gets quite a few yards back, and now a timeout is being signaled. Heidelberg will burn it. That helps BW a lot. We were under a minute left to go, 58 seconds showing on the first half clock, and Heidelberg looked like they just wanted to get the right defensive assignment out there.
Yeah, but not quite sure about that timeout call. Basically giving BW some timeouts back and giving them a chance to get their offense together. If I'm Heidelberg, I may, wrong personnel on the field, but let that clock run. Maybe another play come off, take some time off that board because, as I mentioned, BW has no timeouts, and with no timeouts, they have no time to be able to gather together as an offense and get thoughts together. Everything that they're being able to get told right now and everything that they're doing is through signals on the sideline and calls coming up from here in the box. So definitely something that they could have used in another timeout as they line up on the 30-yard line.
So Plagans will send 3 receivers to the bottom of the formation, 1 out top, and Smith's in the backfield with them. Plagans takes the snap, throws a quick screen out to Fuller. Fuller to the 35, out to the 40, looking for a block, gets to the 45, and out to the 46 before he is tripped up. Running clock after the ball is spotted for the first down. So Plagans now will pass it out to Wagner. Wagner across midfield out to the 45, and it looks close to first down yardage. He's going to be about a yard short, but more importantly than that, he used the Jackets' best friend at this point, the sideline, to stop the clock.
Yeah, smart play by Wagner. He could have maybe cut that ball inside and picked up that first down a little bit easier, but smart play by your senior wide out to step out of bounds, get yourself the time to gather yourselves, and 2nd and 1 here on the 45, so not anything too difficult for the Jackets.
Plagans calls for and gets the snap. He's looking to his right, finds Wagner again near the sideline. I checked that. That's Wolf hauling in the reception. He's across the 35 down to the 33, so a Jacket first down.
And that's the way your short clock offense has to work. Quick hitters on the sideline, quick hitches, quick out patterns, and now we see them driving the ball on the 33 right now and pressing field goal range with 38 seconds remaining.
Plagans takes the snap. He's looking right again. He's flushed from the pocket. He's rushing across the 30, now to the 25, and he is going to be wrapped up and thrown down at the 25-yard line as one of the defenders got a hold of the jersey and threw him down. Clock is running. We're approaching 20 seconds. Plagans make sure everybody's set and then spikes the ball to stop the clock. It'll be 3rd and 2 now for the Jackets.
And not a bad situation here if you're the Jackets. That ball is pretty nice down there. I figure as Heidelberg uses their final, one timeout remaining for Heidelberg, but you figure maybe 1 or 2 plays left for Yellow Jackets be able to chalk down some of that yardage, if not score, and make it a reasonable kick for your kicker, Joe Simonis. And the way this offense has been moving down the field, I don't think that that's impossible to do with some quick hitters on the sideline. Only problem is here that you'll probably be looking at some heavier coverage on the sideline with Heidelberg's defensive coordinators wanting BW to throw that ball across the middle and eat up more clock.
Yeah, Heidelberg will be more than content to give you a play and bounce, but that sideline route is going to be heavily guarded, so you're going to have to sneak it in there if you're Plagans. We'll see what the young man can do. 19 seconds left to go here in the first half. BW and Heidelberg deadlocked at 10, but the Yellow Jackets are knocking on the door again as they have the ball 3rd and 2 at the 25-yard line of the Student Princes.
And I like how Plagans is throwing the ball in this drive, stepping up in that pocket that's created by that line and making smart decisions, all smart throws on this drive. We'll see how he finishes it.
2 receivers to either side of the formation, and Smith flanking Plagans on the right side. Fuller sent in motion to the bottom. Plagans rolling out to his right. He's got to get rid of it. He lobs it out of bounds as he was under heavy duress as breaking contain was outside linebacker Joe Woolley, and he had a hand on Plagans, who barely got that ball out of bounds before it was intercepted.
Yeah, Woolley was rolled out almost before Plagans was, as he's rolling out, meeting him kind of at depth with that rollout and definitely not giving him any room to get that ball out. bringing up this 4th and 2.
4th and 2 for the Jackets, and the offense stays on the field. We'll see what the Jackets can do as Heidelberg has a defensive shift. And now they're coming up to the line to try and jam Tyler Wolf on the bottom of the formation. Fake the handoff. Plagan surveying the field. He looks to find a receiver open, and he does. It's Mike Wagner in the end zone. Off a deflection, Wagner hauls in the touchdown reception.
Yeah, and that's a great job of keeping focus there by Wagner. Heidelberg went man on the outside, covered 2 by their 2 safeties. Had a man up top, maybe. The safety went over to cover that man, and great job there by Wagner, keeping his eyes on the ball, and another senior getting in the end zone today. And it's a great sight to see the guys on the sideline hyping up Mike Wagner.
And one of the first guys to greet him was Tyler Meglin, the senior quarterback, unable to play today, is showing some love to his teammates for getting in the end zone. Simonis on to attempt to try, and he gets it away and good, as one of the gunners was providing some heavy duress from the right side. The Yellow Jackets go back in front, 17-10 over Heidelberg with 8 seconds to go here in the first half.
Crazy play. I know that's not how anybody pictured them getting into the end zone, and I know Heidelberg is on the sideline definitely hurting, thinking that they were this close to a stop. And that's what, as a defender, if you're going to get the hands on the ball, you got to either come down with the interception or bat that ball towards the ground, because anytime that ball's deflected, anything can happen.
It was a tip drill for the Yellow Jackets, and it resulted in 7 points as Wagner never lost focus on the ball, and Heidelberg's defender went to bat it away. That's why I always kind of joke when coaches used to tell you, just bat the ball down, bat the ball down. Well, I've seen a couple of guys sneak underneath batted balls and catch them. That one was batted up, so that was exactly the thing you didn't want to do. But if you're able to get a hand on it, do your best to intercept it. And that would have been the Jackets' second turnover of the day. But instead, it is 7 points for the Jackets. And Heidelberg, I have to believe that they'd be content to take just a 7-point deficit in the halftime, depending upon field position after the kickoff. A modest return after the short squib kick, and Heidelberg will be spotted at the 37-yard line, their own 37, so 63 yards to pay dirt and 5 seconds to go. Maybe you can take a shot here with McGee, one of your big targets. We'll see what Heidelberg elects to do. They're definitely not in a victory formation. Stoyle in the pistol. He's got a back behind him, and he's looking toward McGee. He escapes the initial rush, rushes to his right, lobs it down the field. It's McGee catching it inbounds. He spins at the 33, dances across the 30, but is taken down inside the 30-yard line. That was a heck of a play by McGee to keep it alive a lot longer than it should have been, but the Jackets were able to swarm him at the end of the play and bring him down, and that play brings to a close the first half of action, where the Yellow Jackets of Baldwin Wallace University enjoy a 17-10 lead over Heidelberg. We're going to step aside for the halftime break, and when we come back, we'll take an in-depth look at this first half and go over some statistics for you. You're watching Yellow Jacket football on the BW Athletics website here from Tressel Field at George Finnie Stadium. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tressel Field at the George Finnie Stadium on the campus of Baldwin Wallace College, where the Baldwin Wallace Marching Band is finishing up their halftime performance. I'm Matt Florjanczyk, joined by Jason Lacey, and we are here watching the Yellow Jackets hold a 17-10 lead over the Student Princes as we get set for the second half. The Jackets getting a late touchdown in that first half to take the 7-point lead. They have a chance to make it a two-score game starting here in the third quarter, as they will get the kickoff to start the third quarter of play. Taking a look back at that first half, the Heidelberg Student Princes had 15 first downs as opposed to 11 for the Yellow Jackets. It was a 7-1 advantage for BW after the first quarter of play. Heidelberg has rushed for 149 yards on 24 carries, BW 85 on 17. Heidelberg has passed for 198 yards, while BW 183. Heidelberg has completed 12 of their 17 passing attempts, BW 13 of 20 with an interception. Total yards, BW trails in that department by nearly 100, as they have gained 268 on 37 offensive plays, whereas Heidelberg has turned their 41 snaps on offense into 347 yards. Kickoff returns just one for BW, and they took it back 23 yards for Heidelberg, and they have gained 62 yards on the kickoff returns. The Yellow Jackets averaging just 30.5 yards over their 2 punts. Heidelberg averaging 40 yards on their 3 punts. Time of possession just about even. The Yellow Jackets 14-49, Heidelberg 15-11. Penalties is a big discrepancy, as the Yellow Jackets have been flagged for just 2 penalties for 27 yards. Heidelberg has been penalized 8 times for 80 yards. They are also 0 of 5 on third down conversion attempts. BW is 1 of 7 on third down. However, they are 3 of 3 on fourth down conversions and have cashed in on both of their trips inside the red zone. Heidelberg just 1 of 2 inside the Yellow Jackets red zone. Individually, Heidelberg is led in rushing by Brian Lacey, who has gained 77 yards on 13 carries, and Jose Sanchez in spot duty, just 6 carries, but has gained 54 yards, including the longest run of the day for either team, a 21-yard burst. He's averaging 9 yards per carry, and the quarterback, Tyler Stoyle, has rushed for 18 on 5 carries. On the other side of the ledger, the Yellow Jackets are led in rushing by Isaac Reed III. The senior has 40 yards rushing, 1 touchdown, and a long of 15. His touchdown was a 10-yard burst early in the first quarter. Plegans, the quarterback, has rushed for 17, and the reserve running backs Austin Smith and Adam Blake have combined for 7 carries for 21 yards. The quarterback comparison goes as such, as Tyler Stoyle is 12 of 17 for 198 yards with 1 touchdown. He's been sacked twice. Robbie Plegans, the Yellow Jacket quarterback, 13 of 20 with 1 touchdown, came late in the first half and an interception. He has thrown for 183 yards and not been sacked yet today. Tommy Fuller leads the way for the Jackets with 87 yards on 4 catches, while Demetrius McGee is Heidelberg's leader, 99 yards and 1 touchdown on 4 receptions in that first half. Taking a look at the scoring summary, Isaac Reed got the Yellow Jackets off to a good start when he had a 10-yard run at the 5:17 mark of the first quarter, and Joe Simonis, the Yellow Jacket kicker, gave BW a 10-0 lead over Heidelberg with a 22-yard field goal at the 14:23 mark of the second quarter. Heidelberg responded with 10 points of their own as Stephen Smith booted a 23-yard field goal. He also had a second shot at another 23-yard field goal, but that one hit off the upright. Then with 1:32 to go in the first half, Demetrius McGee hauled in a 21-yard touchdown pass from Stoyle and knotted the game up at 10 points apiece, but with 8 seconds to go in the first half, Mike Wagner caught a pass from Robbie Plegans off a deflection for a 24-yard touchdown.
Definitely like what you've seen here from both offenses, BW earlier and then Heidelberg later into the game, being able to see both of these offenses put some points on the board here. That last touchdown by BW caught by Mike Wagner in the end zone. which put BW ahead 17-10 here. But great job on the air and great job on the ground for both teams. As you mentioned, for 149 rushing yards for Heidelberg, just 85 for BW, 198 passing yards for Heidelberg, just 183 for BW. So Heidelberg leads in both of those categories. But that's nothing that you would be able to tell by looking at the scoreboard and just watching this game. BW had this game under control in the first quarter, and second quarter towards the end, Heidelberg began to get some momentum and get some motion with that offense and start moving the ball a little bit. And we'll see what happens here and how BW will respond to that touchdown on the last drive as they're looking to receive this first kickoff to start the second half.
BW will go from left to right across your computer screens here in the third quarter. Heidelberg right to left. Heidelberg tees it up. It's A.J. Morrison about set to kick it away to the Jackets. And the kickoff specialist will charge the ball and put his right foot into it. It's a low line driver that skips at about the 24-yard line, pops over the head of a return man. Jackets will take it at the goal line, get it out to the 10-yard line, out to the 12, and go no farther. I was getting swarmed right there was Theodore Washington. High hit by Heidelberg coming down. Looked like they could have gotten a little bit of a face mask, but no call. So the Jackets are backed up deep inside their own territory here to start the third quarter.
Yeah, really close to a face mask as the defender coming in on a tackle just reaches up for something to grab. Trip Washington makes a move, cuts to the left side of the field, and just barely misses the face mask, grabs him by the helmet there on that play as Trip Washington returns the ball to the 11-yard line.
The Yellow Jackets going with a different look as Wolf lines up in the backfield as the quarterback, and outflanking his right side is Adam Blake. Wolf hands it off to Smith. Smith around right end, or left end rather, and he gets wrapped up and dropped shortly after passing the line of scrimmage. There's a timeout on the play. Somebody is down on the field for the Jackets. There was a Heidelberg player that was slow to get up as well. So while we have this stoppage in play, we want to remind everybody that today's Yellow Jacket football game is being brought to you by Don Andrews and Olympic Forest Products, a global recycling company. Domino's Pizza. Call us in Berea at 440-891-0030 or go online at www.domino's.com. The Oriole Cafe, a great place for sports, located at 294 North Rocky River Drive in less than 2 minutes from campus. The Hoffman Group, for all of your insurance and risk management needs. The Ohio Education Credit Union, gain the advantage. The Ohio Education Credit Union offers convenience, trust, and value. Build your future today. Medical Mutual of Ohio. Medical Mutual is a healthcare provider of Baldwin Wallace University. The Cleveland Clinic Sports Health Division, the healthcare provider for BW Athletics. Parkway Auto Care in Berea, Strongsville Express Tire and Auto Service, and in Montville. We serve the southwestern suburbs of Greater Cleveland. American International. When you require a company with proven performance, rely on American International. The Comfort Inn in Middleburg Heights, where your comfort is just a part of the service we provide our guests. And the Courtyard by Marriott and Town Place Suites in Middleburg Heights. Have you stayed at a Marriott today? Players still down on the field for the Yellow Jackets. It looked as though Heidelberg's injured player was helped to the sideline.
I believe that's Austin Smith down there on the far side of the field around the 10-yard line. Austin Smith, the sophomore running back slash punter, 5'8", 185 pounds out of North Royalton.
He is up and walking to the sideline. Looks as though it's under his own power, so that is definitely a good sign, but the young man looks to be a little bit hobbled, and the Yellow Jackets will now face a 2nd and 9, and they're going to go back to their regular formation with their true quarterback, Robbie Plegans, in behind center. Is the last play they had Tyler Wolf in at quarterback, and he pitched out to Smith, who then ran it to the left side of the formation before being wrapped up at the line of scrimmage and then needing assistance to get up before getting off the field. So Blake will come in at the running back position now, and he'll take the inside handoff. He's around left tackle, out to the 20, down to the 30, looking to make a defender miss. Can't, but he rides him out of bounds all the way to the 38-yard line. That's a first down for the Yellow Jackets, and that's a good first burst right there by Blake to get to the side, or to get to the off left tackle position and realize that he had a whole lot of green in front of him.
And a great job to get this BW offense up and running here early in the second half after that injury. Great job to pick that back up with that first down pickup.
The Yellow Jackets going with the hurry up and then doing the check with Mies and then the calls at the line of scrimmage to keep Heidelberg's defense from substituting. Plagans calls for the snap. He's looking to throw it. Edge rush off the right side doesn't bother him. He fires it to Wolf, and it hits off of Wolf's right hand and falls incomplete. It looked as though Wolf was dragging on the inside, and Plagans was expecting him to be a little bit further out with the throw. A little bit of a miscommunication there results in an incompletion.
And Tyler Wolf almost went up and grabbed that with just one hand, which would have been a crazy catch for Wolf to have, but nothing that I haven't seen before playing with Tyler Wolf. Definitely seeing him grab a number of one-hand catches.
Wolf is one of the two receivers to the bottom of the formation, and Fuller, the other, was sent in motion. He takes the pitch and gets across the 40. It looks like he's at the 41-yard line, so it'll be 3rd and long for the Yellow Jackets, 3rd and 7 with 13:48 to go here in the third quarter.
Yeah, he crosses the 40 and then is met at the 40 by number 40, Will Lance, the linebacker, who was prepared for the jet sweep by Tommy Fuller on that play to the near side of the field.
Blake flanking Plagans to the right side. Plagans in the shotgun formation. He fakes the call for the snap twice before checking with the sidelines on the play. Now everybody gets their assignment and resets themselves. Plagans looking to pass, heavy rush. He throws a quick ball out to Wolf, and Wolf can't handle it as it hit off of his hip pad and fell incomplete at the 46-yard line. Even if it was a completion, the Jackets would have been 2 yards short of the first down. So on their first possession of the second half, the Yellow Jackets are going to be forced to punt it away to Heidelberg, and after getting that defensive stand, Heidelberg has a chance to draw even again with the Jackets.
And something that we're not seeing a lot of, Trevor George here, the starting senior wideout out of PA, usually starts for them as the kick is bobbled and fumbled, and he's wrapped up about the 30-yard line.
It wasn't the Yellow Jackets' regular punter. They had actually called in one of their kickers. It was Joe Simonis there to attempt the punt, and he did not handle the snap well at all, and he had no choice but to get down on the ball once that pocket broke, and that'll set Heidelberg up nice and pretty. 1st and 10 at the Jacket 30 after the special teams miscue.
Well, something you got to remember, Austin Smith, who just went down, does double as the starting punter, which brings Joe Simonis into the starting role as the punter for this game.
Stoyle now dropping back for Heidelberg. He throws it over the middle, and it's almost intercepted as he overshot one of his receivers, LaShawn Moore, and it looked like having a beat on it for the Yellow Jackets was Theodore Washington. Just a hair too far in front of the Yellow Jacket for him to make a legitimate attempt at intercepting the ball. And
lucky for the Jackets because he was wide open, streaking across the middle of the field there on that drag pattern, and like you said, just missed him by just a little bit.
Stoyle will hand off inside to Lacey. Lacey across the 30 and gets to the 26-yard line before he is taken down. So it'll be 3rd and 6 for Heidelberg. And this would be a huge stand for the Yellow Jackets if they can find a way to keep Heidelberg at bay and keep some points from going on the scoreboard. Stoyle calls for the snap and gets it. He's looking left, sees nothing. He's dropped in the backfield by an edge rushing Yellow Jacket coming in to make the stop. Sean Nischwitz, the outside linebacker, shot through the gap, and it was absolutely blew that play up.
And Stoyle thought he had a pocket to step into kind of towards the left side of the offensive line. And Sean Nixwith says, no, sir, comes in blasting through the line for his second sack of the year.
4th down and 13 to go for Heidelberg. They're staying on the field. McGee is in the slot. Watch that matchup. Stoyle looking for him across the middle. He finds it, and it's a first down for Heidelberg, and he throws the ball away in celebration. And thank you, Mr. McGee, for that, the Yellow Jackets will say, as that's 15 yards going the opposite direction for the Student Princes.
He did not mean a spike ball. It looked like a spike, but he kind of just got up, so excited, the ball flies out of his head, and he looks at the ref. No, I didn't mean to spike it, but at that point the flag is already thrown, and another penalty for the Student Princes after a nice game, and it's something that you called him, McGee, in the slot.
Nearly 100 yards of penalties for Heidelberg, and we still have 12 minutes and 24 seconds to go in the third quarter. I knew McGee was up to something because I could see him try to stretch his hamstrings loose in the slot. He was kicking up his legs before that snap. I figured he was going to try to streak down the sideline, and that's exactly, or the seam rather, and that's exactly what he did. Lacey rushes the football. The Yellow Jackets strip it away, but the officials are going to say that that is the second time now that Lacey has coughed up the football, but only after he was down by contact.
Quick reset on the lineup. Starting senior and captain linebacker Tyler Burdoff is on the sideline with no helmet on. In for him at that middle linebacker position, number 39, Brian Stepp.
So Stoyle takes the snap now on 2nd and long. He fires it out to McGee. McGee trying to shake off a tackler. Can't do it, but dives forward to get back to the line of scrimmage as he caught the ball in the backfield. 3rd and 7 for Heidelberg. 11.5 to go here in the third quarter. BW in front, 17-10.
And I love that play by BW's nickelback, number 29, Jake Carner, who comes in as a coverage defensive back, flying down on that bubble screen.
Fake the handoff to Lacey. It's Stoyle running out to the left side of the pocket. He's the 20 to the 15 to the 10, and he's inside the 10. It looks like down at the 8-yard line. That's first down yardage for the Student Princes.
And it looks like Stoyle has done his film research as he's running, turns around and looks. He knows Eddie Schultz is coming on that backside looking to deliver a blow. And he does a great job of being able to pick up that first down and knowing the down and distance on that play.
You know, he met him once. He didn't really like the meeting earlier in the game, so he's going to be, discretion being the better part of valor, he's going to get out of the way. Fake the handoff to Lacey. It goes to Hoja over the middle, and Heidelberg finds their way into the end zone, and they are an extra point away from evening this ball game at 17 apiece.
Yeah, Hoja, a big target there in the end zone. I believe they have him listed at 6'3", 230. He looks a lot taller than 6'3" from up here in the booth, but great job there of being able to put that ball where the bigger defender can only grab it away from the smaller Trip Washington and making this 16-7, awaiting the extra point here.
Smith charges the ball, puts it in the air, and it's good. 17-17 all with 10:52 to go here in the third quarter. We are deadlocked between Heidelberg and Baldwin Wallace. Heidelberg takes advantage of the short field position after a bad snap on the punt to the backup punter. And even despite getting a 15-yard penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct, Heidelberg finds their way into the end zone yet again.
Yeah, and a great way to answer back from that penalty, which I thought was going to stop the drive. Even though after the penalty, the first down was already gained, still just something that just pushes you back so far. And as I mentioned, just stops you as an offense when you're moving forward, and then you got a play that pushes you back 15 yards. And great job there of recovering there and being able to score that, as their quarterback did a great job of having some pocket awareness while he was rolling out and being able to tuck that ball, scramble it in till about the 8-yard line, then being able to throw the ball to his big target for about a 7-yard touchdown pass and not in this game up.
Yeah, Stoyle did a great job to engineer that drive. He found his big targets. He found open space on the field to run to. He took what the Yellow Jacket defense gave him, and that's what you have to expect out of a kid, that you're charging to lead your offense down the field, especially one even though he's only a sophomore, he's gotten a ton of experience this year and really showed some smarts on that last play to get that first down before the touchdown, escaping the rush of Schultz, as you said. Morrison puts a charge into this one. It's Washington taking it at the goal line. He's across the 10, tries to reverse field and gets stopped short of the 15-yard line. Once he started to break down and slow down looking for that cutback lane, he was surrounded by about 5 Heidelberg defenders, and he wasn't going anywhere beyond the 15.
And that's the thing about kickoff return, different than punt return. You don't have time to be able to break down and actually make a move. You have a chance to put your foot in the ground, make one cut, make a move, and you've got to hit that hole because it will close up just like that. As Trip Washington saw, something that appeared to be a hole, a move that took a second too long has been able to be stopped.
Reed in the backfield, 2 receivers to either side of the formation for the Yellow Jackets, and Plagans in the shotgun formation. He'll take the snap. Rush coming from his left side, and he left a pass short for the tight end. It was Ty Ramsey, wide receiver, and left it a little bit short. Had to get it off quick, and Ramsey took a shot at the end of that play, and I think the Yellow Jackets were a little bit upset that there wasn't a flag administered to Heidelberg. There's already been 9 of them, though, so it's not like Heidelberg is shy about picking up the yellow flags. But now the Yellow Jackets face a 2nd and 10 as Plagans takes the snap. He's looking to pass to the left side of the formation. It is complete, and Ramzier will be the recipient of that pass. Modest gain out to the 21-yard line. So it'll be a 3rd and 4 situation for the Jackets. We're approaching the 10-20 mark of the third quarter.
I like that catch by the freshman. Strong hands there with a defender barreling down on him from behind. That's a great way to pick up that 6-yard gain, making it 3rd and 4.
Isaac Reed out top, and the Jackets are going to have a free play as the Heidelberg defensive line jumped off sides. Fuller had 2 hands on it, but when he crashed to the turf, he lost the football. The Jackets will get a first down, however, on the play as that 5-yard penalty gives them enough to move the chains. Fuller did not land very gracefully on that, and he gingerly ran back to the huddle. I'm not quite sure that he's not feeling the ill effects of that attempted pass down the right sideline.
And whether it was the way he landed or if he landed on the ball or something, just on plays like that, when you leave your feet, never a good landing on those.
Plagans calls for the snap. Inside draw. Handoff goes to Reed. Reed's around right end of the 30, 35, 40. He's across midfield to the 50, down to the Heidelberg 40, and he's run out of bounds inside the 40-yard line for a Yellow Jacket first down. Not the cleanest exchange right there as Plagans put it high on Reed's right shoulder, but the senior back hit the hole and hit the afterburners for the first down.
And there you can see a little bit of some of that explosion from Isaac Reed, the old senior back, coming in and kicking it into the second gear around the edge, and that's what it's got to be when those linebackers think they have a clear angle, turns up that second gear, and is able to bring the ball to the other side of the field.
1st and 10 from the Heidelberg 38. Taking the handoff is Ramzier, and he is wrapped up in the backfield and dropped for a loss on the play. It looks like it's going to be a loss of nearly 5 yards.
And I'm not too sure. I think he might have been trying to throw that ball as he was catching the pitch. It looked like he kind of was bringing the ball up, like he wanted to pass that. And there were a couple of receivers downfield, so I'm not quite sure that was not a double pass, but definitely backfired on the Yellow Jackets, resulting in a loss of 6.
2nd and 16 from Heidelberg's 44-yard line. Jackets going the wrong way after the first down snap. Plagans in the shotgun formation. He'll call for the snap and get it. He's looking to his left. He fires it out into a small window. It goes to Mike Wagner, The Jackets will face a 3rd and short after that reception. Way to thread the needle right there.
And there you can see some of the arm strength of Robbie Plegans there, being able to step that foot down and dart that ball into that window. And great job there of Mike Wagner being able to find 2 defenders and sit right between them and give Plegans a nice target. And Plegans will get that ball in there. It's bringing up this 3rd and 3 on the 31 for the Jackets.
3rd and 3, approaching the 8-minute mark here in the 3rd quarter. Plegans with 5 wide receivers, 3 to the bottom, 2 to the top. He takes it himself, calls his own number, gets to the 25-yard line and first down yardage before he is wrapped up by the interior of Heidelberg's defense and taken down.
And that's a strong one, and it's something that you love to see by your quarterback, not ready to go down and being able to stay up and complete the run, as there looks like there may be a Yellow Jacket offensive lineman down.
There is a down Yellow Jacket, so while we have this time, we want to remind everybody that the Yellow Jacket wrestling team is competing today in its season opener in Geneva at the Ohio Duels at the Spire Institute. The first home wrestling duel is this Wednesday, November 18th, when BW hosts Case Western Reserve University at the Ursprung Gymnasium at 7:30 p.m. We also want to remind everybody that the men's basketball team opens its season tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock at Washington and Jefferson. Both the men and women are home next Tuesday, November 17th, for a doubleheader against Case Western Reserve University. The women tip off at 6 o'clock, and the men set for an 8 o'clock tip-off.
And I'm gonna make an assumption here and say that that's Anthony Loughton-Endow, and it is here, as you see Josh Lane, the left tackle, taking some center snaps, as Josh Lane will probably slide over to that center position, and you'll see number 54, Kevin Jacobs, probably slide to that left tackle position. Definitely not a player that you want to see off the field right now. Has been such a great player for the Yellow Jackets throughout the year. Anthony Loughton came in as a sophomore, beginning to get his first varsity time, and now as a senior, the starter, the starting center, and one of the anchors for this Jacket defensive line, and definitely look to see if he's able to get back on the field here today. 1st
and 10 for the Jackets at the Heidelberg 25-yard line, 7:50 and counting to go here in the 3rd quarter. We are knotted at 17 apiece. Plegans sends Fuller in motion. Now Fuller will flank his left side. Fuller will take the handoff. It's a double pass. He absorbs a huge hit, finds Wagner in the end zone. Wagner calls it in for the Yellow Jacket touchdown. Wagner had a handle on the ball. It was just a matter of whether he got a foot down in bounds, and the official said that he did. That's touchdown number 2 on the day for Mike Wagner.
And Mike Wagner's having a nice day, and he's enjoying this out here. Wagner, a senior guy that a lot of people don't know, missed last year due to an illness, missed the whole season. He played the first 2 games, missed the whole season. He's coming back here as a senior. I believe he'll get an extra year of eligibility, and he comes, and what a great grab right off the defender's helmet there on that play.
The extra point attempt is on the way, and it is good as Simonis splits the uprights. Jackets go back in front. 24-17. They lead Heidelberg with 7:34 to go in this 3rd quarter of play. Wagner's touchdowns haven't exactly been drawn the way you've drawn them up, but they've been 2 effective plays for the Jackets as a double pass puts BW back in front. Earlier in the game, Wagner hauled in a pass at the end of the first half, actually, with 8 seconds left on a pass over the middle from Plegans. A defender hit the ball into the air and allowed Wagner to catch it in the back of the end zone. So the young man has definitely shown a penchant for focusing on the football and making sure he gets his feet down in bounds.
Yeah, and we saw that again here on this play on the side where Plegans flicked it with 2 hands, and he was able to keep his feet in bounds. And a nice throw by Tommy Fuller under pressure. He played quarterback. He's a pitcher in high school, so this is a guy that can definitely sling the ball around, and he did a great job there of keeping his composure and delivering a catchable ball, and it was caught by Wagner. Great catch and 24-7 lead for the Yellow Jackets.
Credit Fuller for also getting up after the play because he absorbed one heck of a shot on that play. Heidelberg, all sorts of trouble here as they lose a handle on the kickoff and fall down inside the 1-yard line. The Jackets are saying it's a safety, and they have a heck of an argument on their hands right there.
Yeah, and then the whole sidelines are out on the field, and from back here it looked like a safety as he caught the ball and slipped to down himself, but they will call him down inside the 1 yard line.
So in order to answer the Yellow Jackets' 85-yard touchdown run that ended with a 25-yard pass from Tommy Fuller to Mike Wagner, the Heidelberg Student Princes are going to have to go 99.5 yards as they are inside their own 1 yard line with a 1st and 10. Stoyle takes the snap. He's going to pitch it out to McGee on the left side. McGee gets around a defender, gets to the 10. That's a 1st down, and he gets thrown out of bounds by one of the Yellow Jackets, but not before getting that 1st down.
And that's a nice move there by McGee just to avoid the original contact of Howard Dover and be able to pick up the 1st down there. And McGee's having himself a nice game here, receiving the ball here, as I believe that will be his 6th catch on the day and will put him over 100 yards. 7th catch, and puts him over 100 yards.
Yeah, he's approaching that 150 mark, actually, and he's almost going to get another target. He did get another target, but he dropped the ball. The pass from Stoyle was high, and he went up to catch it, but could not get a handle on it.
And great job breaking on that ball by Nate Ferrister, who was able to come down hard on that play and pose a distraction for McGee on that, and not an easy catch to make when you've got a defender coming downhill looking to make a play on the ball like that.
Stoyle hands off to Sanchez. Sanchez gets through the initial wave of defenders and then gets cut down at about the 18-yard line. So it should bring up a 3rd and 5 for Heidelberg. 3rd and 6 now.
And still no Birdoff on the field for the Yellow Jackets. It's still Brian Stepp in there at the middle linebacker position.
Stoyle gets the snap, fakes the handoff to Sanchez. He's rolling out to his right. Schultz with pressure. And the pass is batted away out of bounds by one of the Yellow Jackets. Knocking it out was Sean Nischwitz. He got a big paw out there to bat it away from a receiver. That was a tight window to try to thread the needle through. And unfortunately for the Yellow Jackets, Stoyle was not able to do that.
Yeah, tight window to thread the needle to for the throw. And then hard to be able to set your feet and get that ball when you've got a guy like Andy Scholes barreling down on the backside of that play.
Steven Smith will be called on to punt the ball away to the Yellow Jackets. It's a good snap. He puts his right foot into it, and it'll bounce short of the 50-yard line, but it'll take a nice roll before Washington picks it up and gets it across the 50-yard line. So the Yellow Jackets will start 1st and 10 from Heidelberg's 49. 6:26 to go here in the 3rd quarter. It's Baldwin Wallace 24, Heidelberg 17.
And the offense of the Yellow Jackets is up and rolling here, looking for another scoring drive as center and senior offensive lineman Anthony Loughton does check back into the game. Tyler Wolf looks like he'll be lined up in the shotgun for a Wildcat formation here.
Reed will go out to the top of the formation. Fuller and Wagner out to the bottom. There's a flag before they can even get set. The Yellow Jackets called for a shift, and the play was already blown dead.
I think it's 12 men on the field for BW.
So there was a miscommunication on some level on the Yellow Jackets sideline, and that results in a penalty. They'll back themselves back across the 50 down to the 46-yard line. 1st and 15 for BW.
And Wolf in at quarterback. This is a guy that came into BW as a quarterback, another one of those switch positions, so could throw the ball here.
Yellow Jackets do get the shift this time. They'll send Fuller in motion. Wolf takes the snap himself. He's running to the right side of the formation. He gets almost to midfield before he is wrapped up and crushed out of bounds. Coming up to make the tackle was Colin Graves, the senior defensive lineman, the 6'3", 250-pounder out of Asheville. He finished the job that was really started by sophomore defensive lineman Austin Crow. Crow got a hand on the jersey of Wolf to hold him up long enough for Graves to come and finish the job. 2nd and 12 now for BW, under 6 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Plagens back in at quarterback, and it is Blake flanking his right side. Fuller and Wolf in the slot and out wide to the right side of the formation. Wagoner and Steinwalk's out top. Plagens flush from the pocket. He finds Wagoner on the left side, short of the first down, but good play to make something out of nothing by Plagens. That play was getting blown up by one of Heidelberg's defensive linemen, and he had to make a quick decision to get rid of the football, and he did, and got positive yardage out of it.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do anytime the play before has a gain is not positive. Be able to pick that back up and give yourself third and manageable, what they did here in 3rd and 4.
Plagens checks with the sideline. He's got 3 wide receivers to the bottom of the formation, 2 out top. Jackets going empty on this 3rd down. Watch for Heidelberg to bring the heat. Interior pressure. Plagens absorbs it. He delivers a ball over the middle of the field to Fuller. Fuller can't hold on to it, and that'll bring up 4th down. There's not much Plagens could have done more on that play. He absorbed the hit as he threw the ball, and Fuller just couldn't hang on to it.
And as you mentioned, they did bring the heat. They brought both outside linebackers on that play. Initially, a nice job by that line to pick it up, but one of the defensive linemen sneaks through and forces Plagens to throw a ball that he did not want to throw.
Austin Smith is back on the field to punt the ball for the Yellow Jackets. It's a fake punt, and they'll snap it to the up man, who initially was hit at the line of scrimmage behind it, gets back to it, but not any further, and the Yellow Jackets will turn it over as outside linebacker Sam Groff could not get a full head of steam around the corner to get that first down on the fake punt.
I like that call for BW on the fake punt. Not something you usually see from Baldwin Wallace, but taking a chance there, not successful in setting up this student print offense with the ball on the 43.
1st and 10 for Heidelberg. 4:59 to go here in the third quarter. They're down by 7. They'll hand the ball off to Lacey out to the right of the formation, and Lacey has a couple yards. A Heidelberg lineman trips over a Yellow Jacket defender late at the end of the play, and the flag came flying in from the back judge. We will see what the call on the play is. It's a dead ball, unsportsmanlike penalty on the Yellow Jackets. The home fans, as you can hear, are not pleased, and neither is the Yellow Jacket sideline.
And neither are these coaches either. You can hear it here in the box. Just a play that they're not satisfied with, and a play that's able to march this Heidelberg offense farther up the field than they were after that missed fake punt.
So 1st and 10 now for Heidelberg at BW's 39-yard line. Stoyle has 2 receivers to the bottom of the formation, 1 out top, and a back flanking his left side. He takes the shotgun snap. He's going to flare it out to Lacey on the left side. Lacey to the 40, out to the 35, down to the 30. He's inside the 30. 3 Yellow Jackets usher him out of bounds. There was an initial flag, and now a late flag came flying in. I'm not sure what the first one was for, but the second one could be going up against the Jackets.
The second one's definitely going against the Jackets on Lawrence Wolf. That's their senior defensive lineman, and he just kind of came in and pushed somebody in the back after the play that was standing around. And I'm not sure what that first call was, as it looked like there was about 5 Jackets on Lacey on the tackle on that play.
It looked like the field judge signaled a hold. We might have a situation where there's offsetting penalties here.
Either way, not a smart play by one of your senior leaders, Lawrence Wolf, coming in after the play and having that extracurricular push that just wasn't needed. Because if we're looking at a hold here against Heidelberg, this is a play that could go back.
There is a hold on Heidelberg, but there was a dead ball personal foul on the Jackets. So I believe you're going to march off to 10, and then you're going to march 15 back the other way. So Heidelberg gains. They get about 5 extra yards that they might not have had. The holding penalty came down the field. It looked to be against one of the wide receivers who was trying to pitch a block for Lacey. And now Heidelberg faces a 1st and 10 at BW's 24, 4.5 to go. Lacey takes the handoff out to the right side of the formation. He cuts back inside to the 20 to the 15. He's rumbling his way down to the 12, and he'll be stopped there, but not before picking up first down yardage. It's another Heidelberg first down.
And as I mentioned, just another great run by Lacey, not going down. Like, it's not a big guy. As a shorter back, he's able to stay lower to the ground, and the low man always wins, as they say. And he's able to stay in there and keep his feet up and picks up another first down for Heidelberg.
Lacey again takes the handoff. He's inside the 10, and he's stopped at about the 9-yard line. So a modest gain on first down for Heidelberg. Call it a gain of 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 8. We're under 4 minutes to go here in the third quarter. So another trip inside the red zone for Heidelberg. We'll see what they can do with this one. They were 1 of 2 in the first half. Stoyl turns to his left, hands off right to Lacey. Lacey pumps the brakes, cuts back upfield, and finds the end zone for the Heidelberg touchdown. A defender had him dead to rights the line of scrimmage, and he found a way to motor past it after slamming on the brakes, coming to a dead stop, and then turning upfield. Wow.
That's a crazy juke to be able to stop full speed right there on the dot. Stop and let one of his linemen fly through. And if I'm Brian Lacey, I'm definitely going to the sideline and giving a pat on the back to number 51, Jake Hankich, the senior O-lineman, 6'3", 275, out of Martin, Ohio, went to Lake High School. He was there, the right guard on that play, pulled on the mixed direction play, and was leading the way on that touchdown.
The Heidelberg Student Princes are now within an extra point of retying this game at 24 with 3:25 to go in the third quarter. There is an offensive lineman, it looked like, down on the field for Heidelberg. So we have a stoppage in play as the trainers attend to the young man on the field. It looked like he was injured at the end of that touchdown run by Lacey. I'm not sure what transpired, but he is back up on his feet, and he's going to be helped to the sidelines, it looks like.
What a great run by Lacey, just to be able to stop on the dime and know exactly where the hole is, know where he needs to be able to cut and accelerate to get into the end zone. Because, I mean, it's not like he's running and stopping on the dime and no under defenders are pursuing. He's stopping, and the whole flow of the defense is coming out his way towards where he was at. So great job to be able to stop and find right on the dot.
Yeah, and now Heidelberg will attempt that potential game-tying extra point as Steven Smith is on for the try. The snap is back, the ball is down, the kick is up, and it's no good. It kicked off the right upright. That's Smith's second miss of the day. One was a field goal from 23 yards out, and one was the extra point, and they both kicked off the right upright. Heidelberg should be winning this game by 3. Instead, they remain down by a point, 24-23. Jackets in front after the missed extra point. 3:25 to go here in the third quarter.
And more of Heidelberg hurting themselves in the game. On top of all of these penalties, 2 missed field goals, as you mentioned, 1 field goal and 1 point after attempt, both missed by their kicker, and could come through and prove deadly for this team as they're looking at a 1-point deficit here with just above 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Yeah, Heidelberg definitely leaving a lot of opportunities on the field today. Still, though, they're able to compete with this Yellow Jacket team. They're just down by a point after that missed extra point try. So BW will send out the kick return unit. We'll see what kind of kickoff they get. The last 2 have been low line drives from Morrison. We'll see if he wants to do more of the same or if he wants to try and pin the Yellow Jackets back deep. He has had success doing that earlier today. Morrison puts a charge into it, and it's going to be Washington at the 4 fielding it. He's across the 10, down to the 20, and he will get to the 23-yard line before he's wrapped up and dropped on the play. And we have an injured Yellow Jacket on the field, and that looks to be Adam Blake. So now 2 of the 3 backs that the Yellow Jackets have relied on in their trio of ball carriers have suffered some sort of injury on the field. We've seen Austin Smith get injured and then come back. We'll see if Blake is able to do the same. Well,
you go ahead.
While we have this stoppage in play, we want to remind everyone that today's Yellow Jacket football game is being brought to you by Don Andrews and Olympic Forest Products, a global recycling company. Domino's Pizza. Call us in Berea at 440-891-0030 or go online at www.domino's.com. The Oriole Cafe, a great place for sports, located at 294 North Rocky River Drive in less than 2 minutes from campus. The Hoffman Group for all of your insurance and risk management needs. The Ohio Education Credit Union. Gain the advantage. The Ohio Education Credit Union offers convenience, trust, and value. Build your future today. Medical Mutual of Ohio. Medical Mutual is a healthcare provider of Baldwin Wallace University. The Cleveland Clinic Sports Health Division, the healthcare provider for BW Athletics. The Comfort Inn in Middleburg Heights, where your comfort is just a part of the service we provide our guests. The Courtyard by Marriott and Town Place Suites in Middleburg Heights. Have you stayed at a Marriott today? Parkway Auto Care in Berea, Strongsville Express Tire and Auto Service, and in Montville. We serve the southwestern suburbs of Greater Cleveland. And American International. When you require a company with proven performance, rely on American International.
And that appears to be the left leg of Adam Blake, putting no pressure on that walking off, so not a good sign for the Jackets at all.
BW now facing a 1st and 10 from their own 24-yard line, 3:19 to go here in the third quarter. Handoff goes to Reed. Reed looks to go outside. Now he bounces it back inside, gets to the almost 28-yard line, make it the 27, so just a modest 3 on first down.
And if I'm the Jackets, Reed is my guy on the ground. He's having a great day and looking like he's running with some confidence today, and it's something you definitely love to see from Isaac Reed as his carries diminished this year, his senior year.
I mean, he's proven that he can lead the Yellow Jackets when you give him the football, plus being the fact that it is his last game as a Jacket. He's going to have plenty of motivation to run hard. Plagans throws out to his right. It's to Wolf. It's complete for a first down as he gets to the 36-yard line.
Some more of those quick hitters. Robbie Plagans is so on target with those and his timing to be able to just throw that ball right when his receiver comes out the break and know that it's going to be in the right spot.
Plagans comes to the near the numbers, rather, to get the play call from the coaches. And now the specialists for the Yellow Jackets are also looking at the coaching staff, trying to figure out what the call on the play is. Wagoner comes to the bottom of the formation. Fuller and a Wolf out top. Fuller will be in the slot on the left side. Reed in the pistol formation with Plagans. Plagans takes a snap. He's looking to pass. He fires it to Wagoner on the near side. Wagoner gets to the 45, spins, cannot get any further, so he'll be short of the first down. It'll be a yard short, under 2 minutes to go now. Jackets continue to move. Plagans hands off inside. It goes to Reed. Reed across the 45, taken down at the 49, but that's another first down for the Yellow Jackets. First down and 10 now from their own 49, and they're going with the hurry up. 3 receivers out top, nobody to the bottom. Inside draw to Reed. Reed breaks at 45, 40, cuts back across the 30, down to the 20, down to the 10. Stiff arms the defender and gets taken down at the 6-yard line. Isaac Reed had eyes for the end zone, but he was not able to stiff arm that last defender enough. But what a great run by the senior. Hurry up now for the Jackets. Fake handoff goes to Reed. Plagan's going to rush to his right. Sees nothing. He's going to put it out of the back of the end zone. He got hit right as he threw, and he flew about 6 yards into the sideline onto the track here at Tressel Field. No flag on the play. The Jackets will face a 2nd and goal now from the Heidelberg 6.
Explosive run by Isaac Reed. Just a great job of running straight downhill and getting right to the hole.
2 receivers and a tight end at the top of the formation. Wolf in double coverage on the bottom side of the formation. Reed is flanking Plagans on the right side. Plagans will put it right in Reed's breadbasket, and Reed will go almost untouched into the end zone for a Yellow Jacket touchdown. BW in front, 30-23, looking to make it an 8-point game with the extra point try.
Yeah, we're rewarding your back for getting you down there with that long run. Got to give him the ball right there on the goal line, and such a great run. Just kind of ran out of wind there on that long run, stumbles up a little bit, gets tripped up. But as I mentioned, great way to stay downhill with it and on that touchdown run. Great job of that line by clearing out a hole in a Mack truck. Could have backed into that hole there. And as you mentioned, 30-23 awaiting this extra point.
Simonis' try is partially blocked, but it has just enough juice to get over the crossbar between the uprights. It is good. 31-23, Jackets in front of Heidelberg. 1:07 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Heavy rush all day on these extra point tries and field goals for the Jackets by Heidelberg. And Heidelberg finally got one, but it was not enough to keep it away. That would have been a huge swing in momentum after Heidelberg had missed 2 kicks, one on a field goal, one on an extra point. To take one off the board from the Jackets would have been crucial, but it's for naught as the Jackets get that extra point, and now it's an 8-point ball game.
And that block would have definitely evened out the battle of missed extra points there. With 2 mixed extra points, give Heidelberg a chance to tie the game up without having to go for 2, but block wasn't enough to get that kick out of the uprights, and it's 31-23 here with 1:07 left in the 3rd.
So Riley Jones now on to kick it away for the Yellow Jackets. He puts the left foot into it, and it'll be fielded at the 12-yard line. Return man gets up to the 30, now to the 35, out past the 35 he goes before he is taken down. Heidelberg is going to have nice field position after the return by Donovan Walker, the sophomore defensive back out of Tiffin.
And we got a Jacket down from here. It looks like 45, Robbie Andronia. And I think he's got a pretty bad cramp out there. That's what it looks like as he tried to get it stretched out there after the play. And
yeah, it looked like actually he got some assistance from one of Heidelberg's gunners on special teams to try and loosen him up. But, now he's walking off under his own power. It looks like he's got a slight limp. It looked like it might have loosened up for him a little bit, but now he's hobbling again. So we'll see if the young man is able to come back into the ball game. Heidelberg now with a 1st and 10 from their own 36. Good field position for the Student Princes. We'll see what they can do. Stoyle throws it across the middle to the tight end, and Hoja is wrapped up and dropped by one of the Yellow Jackets as Brock Hull shooting a gap and making the hit. He and the ball and Hoja arrived at the same point at the same time, and 2 bad things happened for Hoja. He dropped the ball and took a heck of a shot.
never good when those 3 all happen at the same time.
No, usually somebody ends up losing, and on that one it was Hoja and the Student Princes. Lacey takes the handoff. He gets to the 45. Now across the midfield, down to the Yellow Jacket 40 before he's run out of bounds. Looked like Washington was the last defender to get a hand on him. But that's a great way to answer an incompletion in a big momentum-building hit by the Jackets is you get a big run of your own.
And like I said, just a slippery back. Like 2 or 3 Jackets have their hands on Lacey on that play, and he's just able to cut and shift out of those tackles and push his way forward. Nice pickup there on the ground.
The handoff goes to Lacey. This time he's going to test the left side. Down to the 35, inside the 35. He goes to the 33-yard line. So another chunk gain. It looked like 7 yards right there for the Student Princes on that first down run.
And Brian Lacey tapping his helmet there, signaling he's ready for a break, and a nice break he's getting with Jose Sanchez checking into the game in the backfield. Not a bad two-head monster in itself.
The fake goes to Sanchez. Stoyle swinging out to the right side of the formation. It's Hoja. He looked like he had a knee down. The officials let play continue, and he was able to get to the Jacket 25-yard line. Another Heidelberg first down. Had his knee been marked down, he would have been short of the sticks.
And I thought his knee was down originally, but great job of being able to stay up and just keep that knee from barely touching it down and squat and catch that ball as we approach the fourth quarter here at George Finnie Stadium.
The Yellow Jackets take the lead into the fourth quarter. It's 31-23. They lead Heidelberg with just 15 minutes left to go. Heidelberg, however, is driving down the field, and they are deep in the heart of Yellow Jacket country.
And it'll be interesting to see which back Heidelberg is coming out with to start this quarter as they're pressing towards that goal line. As we've seen number 5, Jose Sanchez, the 6', 205-pound senior out of Fairview High School, has been their goal line back previously in this game. But Brian Lacey having such a great game and a great drive. The 5'9", 195-pound senior out of South Euclid, Ohio, attended Benedictine High School.
Well, if you like solid offensive play, this has been the game for you. Both passers well over 200 yards. BW has a 100-yard rusher. Heidelberg has a 100-yard rusher. Two guys 90-plus for BW receiving, and one young man for Heidelberg already over 130 yards receiving. Sanchez is the back in the pistol formation. Stoyle takes the snap, hands it off to Sanchez. He breaks an initial hit at the line of scrimmage and plows his way forward inside the 21-yard line. And that'll be a gain of roughly 4.5 yards, so it'll be 2nd and 6 now for Heidelberg from the 21-yard line of the Jackets. Stoyle calls for the snap. Sanchez is open in the left flat. He'll get it. He's to the 20. Cuts back inside. Gets to the 15. Now inside the 15. He'll get tackled at the 14-yard line. And that's another first down for Heidelberg. And we could hear from the coach's booth at BW that somebody had a missed assignment on that play and did not stay in his gap and hold contained.
And some more of these short passes, bubble screens, and patterns out the backfield for Heidelberg being able to convert and pick up big yardage off just 2- and 3-yard passes.
So now Stoyle and the Student Princess face a 1st and 10 from the 14. Lacey takes the ball out left, and he gets to the 12-yard line and not much farther as he is wrapped up and taken down after just a 2-yard gain. Stoyle will have 2 receivers to the bottom of the formation, 1 out top, a tight end on the right side, and a back. It looks to be Lacey behind him. High snap, Stoyle controls it. He dumps it off to the tight end, Hoja. He takes a shot from a defender, bounces off, and bounces into the end zone for a Student Prince touchdown. We'll see if they keep the offense on the field and go for 2, or if they're going to send on the special teams unit for an extra point try. They are down by 2 after the missed extra point on the last touchdown.
Yeah, they're staying for 2 here as you see the quarterback coming in, and they're bringing in some bigger guys in the receiver unit, bringing their big guy that we saw earlier, 17, Braden Jerome.
That is a big target. That's a 6'4" target in one-on-one coverage to the bottom of the formation. Now they're going to draw him close to the line of scrimmage. Stoyle rolls out to his right. He's going to cut back left, throw a pass, and find Jerome in the end zone for the 2-point conversion. We have a tie ball game at 31-all with 13:26 to go in regulation.
And I hate to say it, but I called both of those plays. Before that touchdown, I was looking at Hoja at that tight end position, and the way he was lined up, had nobody lined up across from him, and on that touchdown play, if you're Brock Hall, you got to know that you got to wrap this guy up. You got a big tight end, 6'4", 230 pounds, and there's no way you can just come in and be able to tackle him, especially on the goal line, knowing that you're the last line of defense. You've got to wrap up, and make a sure tackle on that play.
Well, they call you a safety for a reason, and unfortunately on that one, the safety went for the big hit and wasn't able to wrap up, and that led to a Heidelberg touchdown. 2-point conversion. They started Jerome out to the bottom of the formation, drew him close to the line, almost as if he was basically an extension of a tight end, and then had him run the drag route. They set everybody up to the right. Stoyle put a foot in the ground, looked left, through, a tight window, to say the least, through the pass, and then Jerome hauled it in for the 2-point conversion.
Not bad coverage on that play by Sam Groff, who was actually in position to make the play, but just a great throw there by Stoyle and great concentration there by Jerome to be able to haul that pass in and knock this game up at 31.
Hey, sometimes you're in the right position, but a guy just flat out makes a play, and you have to accept it and move on, because there's going to be another play coming for you down the stretch here for you to make. Morrison will put the big right foot into it, kicking into a little bit of a wind. It's fielded at the 8. And now it's the return man for the Jackets. Wolf cuts it to the 40, out to the midfield. He is wrapped up by the back of the jersey and taken down at Heidelberg's 40-yard line. That is one heck of a way to answer a touchdown drive for Heidelberg. But yet again, we find another Yellow Jacket down on the field, and he'll be attended to by the trainers.
And Wolf back deep for the first time since week 2. In week 1, he fumbled a kickoff return. In week 2, he muffed both a punt and a kickoff, and was removed from that special teams unit, replaced by Austin Smith. But back deep again on this time with a chance to redeem himself, and he breaks loose on a nice return and almost scores if it wasn't for a touchdown-saving tackle by one of the return coverage men for Heidelberg.
So while we have this break in action, we want to remind everybody that the men's basketball team opens its season tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock at Washington and Jefferson. Both the men and women are home next Tuesday, November 17th, for a doubleheader versus Case Western Reserve. The women tip off at 6 o'clock, and the men are slated for an 8 o'clock start. The Yellow Jacket wrestling team is competing today in its season opening tournament in Geneva at the Ohio Duels at the Spire Institute. The first home wrestling duel is this Wednesday, November 18th, when BW hosts Case Western Reserve University in the Ursprung Gymnasium at 7:30 p.m. We want to say congratulations to the volleyball team, who finished with a 23-7 record under first-year head coach Scott Carter. Congratulations to the ladies on a great season. The Yellow Jackets football team now looks to regain the advantage over Heidelberg with a 1st and 10 at Heidelberg's 40-yard line. We are deadlocked at 31 all with 13:16 to go here in regulation. Plagans takes the snap, fakes the inside handoff to Reed. Now Plagans is flushed from the pocket. He's going to turn the corner at the 40, down to the 30, and he has run out of bounds right there, but not before picking up a first down for the Jackets. He is right at the sticks, and the officials are signaling to move the chains. So good pocket awareness right there by Plagans to recognize that the protection had broken down, and he had an opportunity to boot to his left.
Yeah, showing a little mobility there, and I like it. We've seen that from Plagans today, being able to tuck the ball and pick up steady yardage rather than taking a sack, and I like that smartness and pocket awareness, as you mentioned, by Robbie Plagans.
So Plagans has 3 receivers out top and Reed to his left. He'll call for the snap, and inside draw handoff goes to Reed, and he is going nowhere quick, as shooting through the gap to make the initial hit was Austin Crow. It looked like Crow almost took the handoff for Reed.
And Crow's having a nice game on this defensive front. As we've called his name many times, he's able to get penetration on that play and stop Isaac Reed, and has applied pressure to Robbie Plagans multiple times today.
2nd and 9 for the Jackets from Heidelberg's 29-yard line. Plagans in the shotgun. He'll take the look left to Wagner. It wasn't there initially. He's going to fire out to his right, and a defender for Heidelberg got two hands on it and thought he had an interception, but the official said that the pass intended for Wolf bounced off the turf here at Tressel Field, incomplete. Fortunate for the Jackets because the only one who was catching that ball was a defender.
Yeah, and then number 7, Scott Guizdala on the coverage and just underthrown by Robbie Plagans. Wants to get that ball up and over top of the defender. Instead, he gets it short and almost intercepted.
3rd and 9 for BW. 5 receivers in the formation. Plagans takes the snap. He looks to his left. He's going to throw it short to Wolf. It's intercepted by one of the defenders. Sneaking in to intercept it is Justin Hutchins, but there is a flag on the play. I think this turnover might be coming off the board.
And Plagans took a lick on that play as they were coming with the pressure. Number 48 off the edge, Malik Dudley, coming in and delivering that blow to Plagans and forcing him to put that ball short. Unfortunately for Heidelberg, the interception was called back. Pass interference called on number 28, Justin Hutchins.
So the Yellow Jackets, instead of turning the ball over, face now a 1st and 10 from Heidelberg's 20-yard line. Call it the 19. Plagans will send 2 to the top and 1 to the bottom with Reed behind him in the pistol formation. Heidelberg tried to time up the snap count on that one. They were a little bit ahead of the game, but they got back in time and the ball wasn't snapped. So Plagans calls for it. He's going to roll out to his right. He throws it over to Ramzier. Ramzier is thrown out of bounds after a gain of about 7. Should be a 2nd and 3 for the Jackets.
And Heidelberg with kind of an unorthodox front there with their down lineman. If you look at the defensive tackles, number 58, Ethan Rogers, doesn't really get down into a stance. They just kind of sometimes stand around, maybe go to a 2-point stance, but mixing it up there on the defensive front.
11:30 and counting to go here in the ball game. Plagans in the shotgun. Reed to his right. Inside handoff goes to Reed. He's to the 10, and he gets to the 9 before he is taken down by one of the interior defenders for Heidelberg. It looks to be a first down, and it is, as the official now signals for the change to move. It'll be a 1st and goal for the Jackets. Just inside the 10-yard line, under 11 to go here. We are knotted at 31, but the Jackets are knocking on the doorstep here. 3 receivers come to the bottom of the formation. Wagner, Fuller, and a Wolf. Wolf and Wagner in the slot. Reed in the backfield behind him. A tight end out to the top of the formation, and that is Dylan Minnick. Plagans takes a snap. He looks left. He throws it to Wolf, and it's too tall for Wolf to get a hand on.
And that's the play that you're one. If you're Tyler Wolf, you've got a bigger receiver in Mike Wagner along with Tommy Fuller out there on the edge blocking for you, and it's looking like you and that safety one-on-one off that screen play, and Tyler Wolf definitely likes his chances against number 18, Alex Rins, who was the only unblocked defender on the play.
Twin receivers to the bottom of the formation, and out top, Reed is in the backfield. Plagans will be in the shotgun formation after they reset the offense. They get the signals from the sidelines, and Plagans will call the play at the line before backing up again. He'll call for the snap, give an inside handoff to Reed. Reed is met at the line of scrimmage, and he goes nowhere. That hole didn't exist, and if it was there, it closed quickly as Reed could not scoot his way past Heidelberg's defense.
And maybe the Heidelberg defensive front figuring it out here. It's stopping the run game is on this drive. It's been ineffective for the Jackets and hasn't gained them much yards here as we're looking at 3rd and goal with the ball on the 10.
Under 10 minutes to go now. In regulation, we are locked in a 31-31 tie. BW looking to answer Heidelberg's earlier touchdown from the 4th quarter. Plagans takes a snap. He looks to his right. He throws the fade route into the end zone. It's Wolf making the catch, and Wolf making the touchdown as he got a foot down in bounds for the score. Yellow Jackets go back in front of Heidelberg, 37-31 at 9:44 to go in the game.
And what a great pass there by Robbie Plagans, putting that ball right over the outside shoulder of Tyler Wolf, where only he could get it with the spectacular catch, which he does make and is able to get both feet in bounds. College football, he only needed one. Great ball, great catch, and Tyler Wolf gets his first touchdown of the year.
And he gets a big celebratory hug from head coach John Snell as well after that first touchdown. Simonis' extra point try is up, and it splits the uprights. It's good. BW goes back in front by 7, 38-31, 9:44 to go in the ball game. While we have this stoppage in play, I want to remind you that today's Yellow Jacket football game is being brought to you by Dan Andrews and Olympic Forest Products, a global recycling company. Domino's Pizza, call us in Berea at 440-891-0030 or go online at www.domino's.com. The Oriole Cafe, a great place for sports, located at 294 North Rocky River Drive, less than 2 minutes from campus. The Hoffman Group for all of your insurance and risk management needs. The Ohio Education Credit Union, gain the advantage. The Ohio Education Credit Union offers convenience, trust, and value. Build your future today. Medical Mutual of Ohio. Medical Mutual is a healthcare provider of Baldwin Wallace University. The Cleveland Clinic Sports Health Division, the healthcare provider for BW Athletics. Jones in with the left foot, and he'll send it away to Heidelberg. It'll be fielded by an up man at the 10. Out to the 20 he goes, to the 25, makes a stutter step, and he'll get to the 29-yard line before he is taken down. Donovan Walker again coming up and returning that kick for Heidelberg. Today's Yellow Jacket football game is also being brought to you by Parkway Auto Care in Berea, Strongsville Express Tire and Auto Service, and in Montville. We serve the southwestern suburbs of Greater Cleveland. American International. When you require a company with proven performance, rely on American International. Stoll takes the high snap and hands off to Lacey. Lacey across the 30 to the 35, and he'll get out to the 38-yard line, a gain of 8 on first down. Today's football game is also being brought to you by the Comfort Inn in Middleburg Heights, where your comfort is just a part of the service we provide our guests, and the Courtyard by Marriott and Town Place Suites in Middleburg Heights. Have you stayed at a Marriott today? 2nd and 2 from the 38-yard line. Heidelberg is on the march, down by 7, 38-31 with 9 minutes to go here in regulation. Stoyle takes the snap, hands off to Lacey. Lacey spin moves across the 40 and has first down yardage at the 42-yard line. Lacey well over 150 yards on 24 carries. He's averaging better than 6.5 yards a rush today, as long as 25 yards, and he's also scored a touchdown. Stoyle takes the snap, fakes the handoff. He's looking down the field. He finds a man. It's Jerome, but it's batted away by a Yellow Jacket defender. It looked like Dover got a hand in on the pass.
Yeah, and great job defending a taller offensive player by Howard Dover. As Jerome streaking downfield on that post pattern. And Stoyle does a nice job of trying to put that ball up high to where only he could get it, but Howard Dover able to get some lift off the ground and get his hand in there and deflect that ball out.
Stoyle in the pistol formation, 2 receivers out to the bottom of the formation, 1 at the top. He'll hand off inside to Lacey. Lacey across midfield gets tripped up after gaining first down yardage, and if it wasn't for the shoelace tackle by one of the Yellow Jacket defenders, that had touchdown written all over it.
And I know Eddie Lacey was thinking touchdown or at least 20 more yards on the play, as he was tripped up on the end of that play by Brian Stepp, the middle linebacker, but definitely had a big hole to work with there and was able to make a move and lose a defender, but isn't able to get the yards that he wanted to on that play, but a first down for the Heidelberg offense.
Watch McGee. He was loosening up those hamstrings again on the previous play. Sanchez now takes the handoff rather, and he'll plow ahead for a gain of 3 yards on the play. We'll see if McGee is trying to stretch those legs loose for another down the field run, as he did late in the first half.
And definitely something that you can see that Heidelberg likes going to, and it's that post pattern with their kind of bigger defenders, and they're liking their matchups with these outside receivers against these safeties.
I would too if I was throwing a 6'4" and 6'2". Stoyle flushed from the pocket, and he cannot get away from the yellow jacket. Russ is shooting in there and making the sack with Sam Groff. It's lost yardage on the play. Heidelberg will have a 3rd and 9.
And he's got Sam Groff barreling down there on the pressure along with Andy Schultz on the backside. So it was a pick your poison opportunity for Tyler Stoyle on that 2nd down play, and big 3rd down here for Heidelberg.
3rd and long. 3 receivers in the formation. McGee down at the bottom. He has single coverage. Stoyle looks to his left. He's throwing to his left, and it is knocked away by one of the Yellow Jackets as Förster got a hand in on it. The intended target was Jerome, but that pass took way too long to develop. It was across the field, and that gave Förster enough time to slam the door shut and break up the pass.
And not a great pass there by Stoyle, kind of a little bit of a duck on the play when you've got to get a dart in there with a defender attached to a receiver like that. And the Yellow Jackets are hyping up the sidelines. The crowd's getting into it, and a huge 4th and 9 with the ball on the 46 here.
Timeout on the field. BW signals for it with 6:48 to go in regulation. Heidelberg came out showing that they were going to try a 4th down conversion attempt. And BW just wanting to see, maybe take a look at what formation Heidelberg was going to bring out before they set up the defense. That's BW's first charge timeout of the half. They have 2 more. Heidelberg has all 3.
And that's great pressure there on that previous play by Groff and Schultz. No way that you want this quarterback back there being able to make decisions how he has been able to in this game, make right throws, to be able to get his receivers in the position to make a play, and also just being able to decipher this defense and make smart plays without throwing the ball into coverage.
4th and 9 for Heidelberg. The offense trots back out on the field, and the Jacket defense looking for a stop. Huge swing of momentum coming for either team as a result of this play. Stoyle will go in a pistol formation. Sanchez is his back. 3 receivers out to the top, a tight end to the right of the formation. Stoyle takes the snap. He's looking left. He steps up in the pocket, dumps it off to Hoja. That's a 1st down and more as Hoja gets to the 30, inside the 30, down to the 25-yard line. Stoyle was under a heap of pressure. He stepped up, and right before he decided to run, he chucked it to Hoja 2 yards short of the sticks. Hoja turned upfield and turned it into a big gainer.
Some more of that pocket awareness there by Tyler Stoyle.
Stoyle takes the snap. He'll hand off to Lacey. Lacey looking for a cutback lane. Finds a minimal one. Gets inside the 25 to the 24. Gain of 3. 2nd and 7 now facing Heidelberg. We're approaching the 6-minute mark of the 4th quarter.
And Brian Stepp comes out of that pile with the ball in his hand. Looks like that might have been a fumble. I wasn't sure if he was down or not, but that ball definitely popped out there towards the end of the play. But the refs call it Heidelberg ball, and it's 2nd and 8 here on the 25.
Stoyle takes the snap. He's going to hand it off to his right. It's Lacey. Lacey turns the corner to the 20, dances to the 15, gets knocked out of bounds, but there is a flag on the play. This one could be coming back.
Yeah, that's going to be a hold on number 81, Demetrius McGee, on Nate Förster there on the edge. No way that the refs aren't calling that. Anytime they see your hands outside of that shoulder pad line, they're calling holding 100% of the time. And
it is indeed a hold on the Student Princes. That'll back them up. And it looks like they're going to spot the ball at the 25-yard line of the Yellow Jackets, 26. So it'll be a 2nd and 8 now. After the penalty yardage was marked off, Stoyle in the shotgun. Lacey to his left. McGee in single coverage to the bottom of the formation, 2 out top. Stoyle looking left. He finds a man open, but it tips off his hands. It looked like Jerome just couldn't get a handle on the ball.
And more pressure for the Yellow Jackets, and I like to see it. Something that we haven't seen a lot of this year, a lot of quarterback pressure. And, again, Tyler Stoyle not able to set his feet and throw that ball like how he wants to. Still a catchable pass there for Jerome, but not the best pass that could have been thrown due to the pressure by the Yellow Jackets defensive line.
3rd and 9 from the Yellow Jacket 26. Stoyle takes the snap. He's going to flare it out to Lacey. Lacey to the 25. Hits the gas, gets to the 21-yard line, but he's going to be a couple yards short of the first down. Could not jitterbug his way out of that last Yellow Jacket tackle, and it'll bring up the 4th down.
Short tackle there by Brian Stepp, and that's what it's got to be, one-on-one with a guy like Lacey in the open field, able to get down towards those ankles, wrap him up, and stop him from picking up that first down.
4th and 4 for Heidelberg. The Yellow Jackets show a lot of confusion. They're going to have to burn a timeout. Nobody really seemed to know what they were doing, and actually one of the backups, it looked like Jake Hudson, the backup quarterback, ran 45 yards up the sideline to get to one of the coaches to say, hey, coach, they didn't get the play in. And fortunately for that, the coaches believed him and took the timeout because there were a couple of defenders that had their backs to the line of scrimmage trying to get the play call, and Heidelberg was ready to snap it.
Yeah, and that timeout right on time is, as you mentioned, streaking down the sideline, trying to inform the coaches that his defense wasn't properly aligned, and Heidelberg was prepared to run the play. As I mentioned, just barely gets that timeout off, and if they don't get that timeout off, definitely looking like a touchdown for Heidelberg, as BW had players all over the place.
Yeah, at best you could expect to hopefully make a play short of the goal line, but discretion being the better part of valor, you cash in one of those gold bricks and you use a timeout, and you live to fight another day. This is the second time now Heidelberg's had a 4th down that they've gone for here on this drive alone. And you want to make sure that you have every possible defender knowing what they're supposed to do, and the last thing you want is any sort of confusion.
And look for some pressure from this defensive front, as we've been getting a lot of it here as they go to a 3-man front with Schultz, Wolf, and Maurer. Watch for the blitz here.
Stoyle in a shotgun formation. He's got Sanchez blocking his left side. Stoyle going to run out left. Now he's going to get flushed again from the pocket. He has enough time to dive for first down yardage. It's going to depend on the spot. The officials call timeout on the play. We're going to see where they mark him, if he's short or not, and he is indeed short of the sticks. The Yellow Jackets hold, and now a flag comes out. I'm sure there were some unpleasant words for the officiating crew on the Heidelberg sideline, and that'll cost you 15. So the worst situation is, yeah, you turn the ball over, but you back the Jackets up deep. Now you turn the ball over, and you might give them an extra 15 yards on it.
Yeah, and definitely some frustration there on this sideline, and I don't blame him. Spot was questionable, but it's something you can't do with the refs, and they won't hesitate to throw the flag when you're drawn off to an official.
The ball has been spotted at the 18-yard line. I expect that it will not stay there for long. Dead ball, unsportsmanlike penalty on Heidelberg. That'll give the Yellow Jackets some definite breathing room as they march off. It should be a 15-yard penalty. That'll bring the Jackets out to the 33-yard line. Costly mistakes right now by Heidelberg. You end up short. The worst thing you could do is commit one of those penalties. Not sure if it was a player or a coach. It probably was both of them. It looked like Stoyle had gotten enough for the first down, but they marked them short and marked them on the wrong side of the stick, and that was a turnover on downs. Expect to see a heavy dose of the Jackets runners here as Reed takes an inside carry, and he'll get past the 35-yard line, plow ahead to the 36. The Jackets are going to try to use that clock as one of their best friends right now. They're going to try to churn out these first downs if they can get them on the ground. They do not want to pass. A, you don't want to throw an interception that gets returned on you, and B, you want to give Heidelberg as little time as possible. And plus, the last time you were home, you had a couple of long 60-plus yard and 50-plus yard touchdown runs, so you know you're capable of taking it to the house too.
Look for a lot of Isaac Reed here. If you can remember, Adam Blake hobbled off the field earlier into this quarter with a left leg injury, and haven't seen Austin Smith on the offensive side of the ball since his injury.
Inside handoff to Reed again, and he bowls his way forward for a modest gain. It looks like another 2, maybe 3 yards on the play. It's a 3rd and 4. We're under 3.5 to go now from Tressel Field. Third and 4 for the Yellow Jackets. Ball on their own 39-yard line. Plagans has 4 receivers in the formation. 2 to the top, 2 to the bottom. Wolf is the outside man and Fuller the inside slot on the left side of the formation. Reed will be on the left side of Plagans. Plagans is going to throw. He throws it over the middle. It's caught by Wagner in stride. He's to the 30, down to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, to the 1-yard line as he's marked out of bounds. They're going to say he stepped out at the 2. A huge gamble on 3rd down for the Yellow Jackets. They're going to say, forget this clock nonsense, Matt Florjancic. We're going for the touchdown.
Mike Wagner, good buddy of mine. I know he is not happy he did not get into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown on the day and marched short of the end zone, but nonetheless, great play to be able to give the BW offense the ball right here on the 2.
Plagans in the pistol formation. He's got 2 receivers at the bottom, 1 to the top, and Reed behind him. 1st and goal from the 2. 2.5 minutes and counting left in the 4th quarter. Plagans will hand off to Reed, and Reed will scoot into the end zone untouched for the touchdown. The Yellow Jackets go up by 2 scores with 2:26 to go.
What a game here for Isaac Reed now. His 3rd rushing touchdown on the day. And just what a great way if you're a senior and one of the, highlight seniors on this team, a 4-year letterman, the only 4-year letterman on this team, Isaac Reed, and a great way to end out your career as a Yellow Jacket.
Simonis looking to tag on the extra point. Snap is back, ball is down, kick is up, and kick is no good. It smacked off the left upright. Hopefully that one doesn't come back to haunt the Yellow Jackets as they lead by 13, 44-31, 2:26 to go.
And not a lot of accuracy here late season for Joe Simonis, something that you don't usually see a couple times. Special teams player of the week in the conference last year, and here towards the end of the year, you see Joe miss a couple extra points, missing some chip shot field goals. So just not a good sign if you've got an underclassman kicker coming into the end of the year.
All is forgiven, however, if Baldwin Wallace can scoot out of here with a victory over Heidelberg and improve to 7-3 on the campaign. 2:26 separates them from doing just that. Heidelberg looking to finish at 6-4. They've got some work to do in front of them. Jones puts his left foot into the ball. It's a short kick fielded by an up man at the 22. He's to the 30, now to the 35, and down at the 39-yard line. In on the return was number 34, Nick Coolidge, a junior defensive back out of Charlotte, Michigan. 1st and 10 for Heidelberg at the 39-yard line. Decent field position to start. They need 2 touchdowns here. Stoyle has 3 receivers at the top of the formation and a back flanking his right side. It's Sanchez, and now Stoyle steps up and he finds a man streaking down the sideline at the 30. He'll cut back to the 25, inside the 25-yard line. It's a 1st down and then some for Heidelberg. Looked like DeLisa was in on the reception.
DeLisa hobbles off the field after the catch, hurries to the sideline. LaShawn Moore in for him, checking into the slot here at the bottom of your screen.
And now there is a stoppage in play. John Snell was saying something to the linesman. The linesman told him to go back to the sideline so he could go address the lead official, the referee. The Yellow Jackets marched 82 yards in just 4 plays in 2 minutes and 20 seconds before Isaac Reed punctuated that touchdown drive with a 2-yard run.
Big play here for Heidelberg towards the end of this game. 2:05 remaining, and Nick DeLisa is found by Tyler Stoyle for a hefty game through the air. And if Heidelberg can score here, maybe hop right back into this game, down 2 touchdowns.
Stoyle has it back in the backfield with him. We're at 2 minutes and counting. Fakes the handoff out to the right. Now he's looking left, and he's going to be sacked, but he fumbled the football. It's loose on the field, and we have a pile-up at the 32-yard line. If the Jackets could have recovered this, that might spell the end of the ball game. The officials signal timeout, and they're conversing.
And I believe that was Jake Maurer on the sack, and what a great play to make that play as he had number 53 for Heidelberg. Ryan Finn, as a pulling guard on that pass play, was able to set that block and get to the quarterback and force that fumble and make the sack. Still no call from the ref. It's whose ball it is.
Yeah, BW signaled that they had the ball, and they thought the official did too, but the official signaled timeout for Heidelberg. They have 2 left now. They had 3 before the drive started. The offense for Heidelberg is still on the field. A coach for Heidelberg was on the field signaling that they still had the football. And no official signal for the opposite. So Heidelberg looks like they maintain possession as the Yellow Jackets trot their defense back out there.
And what coach really knows is you see the coach always signal over for who has the ball, and dog pile so deep you can never really see, as this game is really getting intense here today.
2nd and 18 from the 33-yard line. Stoyle with 1:46 left to go. He steps up in the pocket. He's going to get sacked again, and the ball is flown forward. They call it an incomplete pass. Stoyle took a heck of a shot from the backside defender, and really kind of a blindside shot. And fortunately for him, he was not only able to get the ball off, but able to stand back up.
And able to keep the ball from being turned over. Happily, he was able to keep his arm moving forward and make that an incomplete pass rather than a fumble. Big hit on the backside by the cornerback, Howard Dover.
3rd and 18. Stoyle takes a snap, quick fires it to McGee, and McGee can't handle it.
Pressure again in that backfield. That's that defensive line. Jake Maurer again. And this defensive line is really getting pumped up and making it a hard time for Tyler Stoyle there in the pocket.
4th and 18 now, 1:37 left in regulation. BW in front by 13 points, 44-31. And they are 1 stop away from potentially putting a stamp on this season with a victory. Stoyle takes the snap. He steps up in the pocket again, throws it down the field, and it is over the head of the intended target, LaShawn Moore. No flag on the play. That's a 4th down stop for the Yellow Jackets.
And that's great coverage there by their nickelback. Believe that is number 29, Jake Corner, on the play. And as we mentioned, how Heidelberg loves to go to those deep patterns and try those safeties. That time he tested Jake Corner with number 1, LaShawn Moore, the junior receiver out of Mentor, Ohio. And great coverage there, and that ball was uncatchable. And it's a turnover on downs, giving BW the ball, 1st and 10 with the ball on the 33-yard line.
The first team offense comes back onto the field once more, led by the senior backfield of quarterback Robbie Plegans and running back Isaac Reed. Plegans will hand off to Reed. Reed will run into the middle of the pile and get a modest gain of 1 yard before Heidelberg burns a timeout. They have one more left with 1:27 to go, down by 13 points. First down by BW will do it. While we have this time, we want to remind you that today's Yellow Jacket football game is being brought to you by Dane Andrews and Olympic Forest Products, a global recycling company. Domino's Pizza, call us in Berea at 440-891-0030 or go online at www.domino's.com. The Oriole Cafe, a great place for sports, located at 294 North Rocky River Drive, less than 3 minutes from the BW campus. The Hoffman Group, for all your insurance and risk management needs. The Ohio Education Credit Union, gain the advantage. The Ohio Education Credit Union offers convenience, trust, and value. Build your future today. And Medical Mutual of Ohio. Medical Mutual is a healthcare provider of Baldwin Wallace University. Second and long for the Jackets. And Wolf goes in to the Wildcat formation. He goes to his left, and he's wrapped up in the backfield for a huge loss. He's back to the 26-yard line. Loss of 7 on the play. This Yellow Jacket football game is also being brought to you by the Cleveland Clinic Sports Health Division, the healthcare provider for BW Athletics, Parkway Auto Care in Berea, Strongsville Express Tire and Auto Service, and in Montville. We serve the southwestern suburbs of Greater Cleveland. American International, when you require a company with proven performance, rely on American International. The Comfort Inn in Middleburg Heights, where your comfort is just a part of the service we provide our guests, and the Courtyard by Marriott and Town Place Suites in Middleburg Heights. Have you stayed at a Marriott today? The Yellow Jackets face a 3rd and 16 with 1:21 to go. Heidelberg just expended their final timeout of the ball game. BW has one left themselves. 44-31 in favor of the Jackets. Plagans is in at quarterback. 2 receivers out to the top of the formation. Wagner to the bottom. Isaac Reed in the backfield as the deep man. Plagans calls for the snap. He hands it to Reed. Reed tries to bounce it outside. Unable to do so. Gets back to the line of scrimmage and not much more. Yellow Jackets will have to punt the ball away. They'll be doing so with roughly 32 seconds left on the clock.
And a great way to go out if you're Baldwin Wallace, with great leadership from all of your seniors here today. Mike Wagner, Robbie Plagans, Isaac Reed. On defense, Lawrence Wolf, Jake Maurer, Ian Harmon. A lot of these guys on the front turned up a great game today, and great performance here for the overall by the Yellow Jackets.
BW will take their final timeout. They let that play clock tick down as much as they possibly could. And into punt for the Yellow Jackets is Austin Smith, back deep to return. For Heidelberg was number 6, Dom Scott, a sophomore defensive back. The snap, or the punt gets away, rather. And it's going to take a BW roll as it bounced at the 37, and it'll roll dead somewhere inside the 15 mark at the 14-yard line. 20 seconds left to go in this ball game. BW in front by 13.
And again, a great sign. Tyler Meglin this whole game serving as a coach right there with all the offensive coordinators on the sideline. And the whole time the defense is on the sideline, he's pumping them up. And when the offense is on the sideline, he's pumping them up. So just a great sign of leadership by your senior leader and quarterback, Tyler Meglin.
Stoyle will go in the shotgun formation. He takes the snap. He's going to be flushed out to the left. He is wrapped up and taken down on the play. Sam Gruff in on the stop, and he was pushed away by one of the offensive linemen. One of his defensive tackles pulled him aside and said, hey, that was going to be the last play of the game more than likely. Let's just take this win and not have any extracurriculars. And that indeed will be the last play of the game as the Baldwin Wallace Yellow Jackets improve to 7-3. They end their campaign on a positive note with a 44-31 victory over the Heidelberg Student Princes, who finished the year at 500 with a 5-5 record. They were 5-4 in conference play. The Jackets were 7-2 in a conference play. Robbie Plegans led the way for the Jackets with 23 completions for 300 yards with 2 touchdowns and an interception, and he was aided by Isaac Reed III, who in his final game as a Yellow Jacket rushed for 149 yards and 3 touchdowns on just 20 carries, 7.5 yards per rush for the Yellow Jacket. Senior Mike Wagoner led the way in the receiving category with 8 catches for 152 yards with a touchdown, and Tommy Fuller, 5 catches, 90 yards. His long was a 42-yarder. Tyler Wolf also had 65 yards receiving, including a touchdown. So once again, the Yellow Jackets are victorious here over the Heidelberg Student Princes, 44-31. For my partner in the booth, Jason Lacey, my name is Matt Florjancic, saying make today better than yesterday and make tomorrow better than today. Have a great night, Yellow Jacket fans.